Chapter 2694. How could Longao not know about his son's worries? However, Longao's character was like this. Once he decided on something, he basically wouldn't change his mind. Whether it was Long Yun or the others, they were very clear about Longao's character and didn't continue to persuade him. Now, the primal chaos stone tablet in Song Lin's body had begun to rotate on its own. Recovery was just a matter of time. Longao wasn't too worried. Leaving the soaring dragon empire. According to Long Yun, Longao quickly locked onto the mysterious plane. It was really hidden. He didn't know how his son found this mysterious plane. If not for Long Yun's lock, Longao was very clear that no one in the vast starry sky could find this mysterious plane. He was very surprised. Longao didn't have the slightest carelessness and carefully stepped into the mysterious plane. Just as he stepped in, Longao's face suddenly changed. His face was full of shock and seemed to be in disbelief. Secret realm. Others might not be able to sense anything, but Longao just stepped in and clearly sensed the aura released by this mysterious plane. It was definitely the aura released by the secret realm. There was no doubt about it. No wonder Yun almost died here. It turned out to be the power of the secret realm. Not to mention Yun, even a peak starry sky immortal couldn't resist the power of the secret realm. Just thinking about it made him feel scared. It wasn't just Longao. Whether it was a half-step starry sky dominator or a starry sky dominator, as long as they entered this mysterious plane, they would be able to sense the power of the secret realm. The more he thought about it, the more surprised he was. Longao of course knew what the secret realm meant. If he could obtain the secret realm, even if he didn't devour it, he could let others devour it and become a half-step starry sky dominator. Half-step starry sky dominator. What the Empire lacked the most now was a super powerhouse. Even if there was a starry sky dominator and a half-step starry sky dominator, it was still far from enough. Today, Longao's cultivation had smoothly broken through the peak starry sky, immortal realm, and he had various treasures to protect his body. He even merged with the primal chaos nine-colored lotus, and formed the nine-colored lotus life spirit. Immortal body. Even so, Longao was still careful and even entrenched step by step. Although he had an immortal body, it didn't mean that there was no power to suppress or seal him. As the saying goes, caution is the parent of safety. Longao carefully sensed while remaining vigilant at all times. If there was any accident, he could react in the shortest time. Can't sense it? No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't pinpoint the exact location of the mystic realm. It was very depressing. It would have been fine if he didn't know, but at this moment, he could clearly sense the existence of the mystic realm. This was just like a burly man who had been starving for 3 days and 3 nights suddenly smelled the aroma of a hot bun, but couldn't find a hot bun no matter how hard he tried. It would be a lie to say that he didn't want to obtain the secret realm. What should he do? Longao released the aura of his primordial spirit. He stopped and began to sense the aura of the mystic realm around him. Only when his primordial spirit entered his own realm would he have a better chance of locking onto the aura of the mystic realm. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. All of a sudden, Longao looked up to the sky and laughed wildly. His laughter was filled with endless surprise. Longao bolted out with a swoosh. His speed was raised to the max, and he even used time teleportation. The mysterious plane didn't have any level, because even Longao couldn't sense the level of the plane he was in. He was very surprised, because in the vast starry sky, it seemed that this kind of situation wasn't common. Not only that, the surface area of this mysterious realm was extremely huge. Under normal circumstances, given Longao's speed, he could have traversed the entire realm in a few steps. In fact, he could have even taken a single step. But given the situation right now, even after using time teleportation for such a long time, Longao still had not arrived at his destination. He was very surprised. Within a dense forest, there were ancient trees all around. Looking over, there were dense trees everywhere, covering the entire sky. Not even a single ray of sunlight could shine in. The mystic realm is within this forest. Longao had already sensed the location of the mystic realm earlier on. Not only that, he could even sense that there might not only be a single mystic realm within this forest. There were at least 2 mystic realms. In other words, if he could get his hands on 2 or more mystic realms, he could definitely create 2 or more half-step cosmic dominators for the Empire. Just think about it, and he knew what that meant. He could not wait any longer. Longao took a step forward, and his entire person instantly entered the forest. Not good. The moment he stepped into the forest, Longao sensed that something was wrong. Before he could even extricate himself, he was already under attack from all directions. The attacks were extremely strong, coming wave after wave, as though they could topple mountains and overturn seas. Longao naturally knew what was attacking him. If he was not wrong, it should be the attacks from the mystic realm within the forest. If it were the Longao from before, he would definitely not be able to withstand the attacks from the mystic realm. But now, the situation was different. Now that Longao's cultivation base had broken through the limits of the starry sky immortal realm, and his essence spirit had fused into the Chaos 9-colored lotus essence spirit, it was not hard for him to withstand the attacks from the mystic realm. But what was the result? Longao's complexion completely changed as he finally discovered one thing that made him feel incomparably shocked, and that was the attacks of the secret realms in the forest. It indicated that there were not only 2 or more secret realms here, but there were as many as 9 secret realms. What kind of concept was this? Longao was pleasantly surprised to the extreme, because not only were there 9 mystic realms in the forest, but these 9 mystic realms were almost the same as the mystic realms owned by Bai Jing and the others. They were basically on the same level. Now, Longao already knew that there were 2 types of mystic realms. One was a single mystic realm. The power of this mystic realm was limited. It could allow a half-step cosmic dominator to have super strength, but it could not advance further. But there was another case, that was, the mystic realms owned by 9 half-step cosmic dominators. Once combined, their power would far surpass ordinary mystic realms. This mystic realm itself was a combination, but for some reason, it was divided into several pieces. Although they were separated, each piece could create a half-step cosmic dominator. From this, one could imagine how powerful this mystic realm was. Longao never thought that his luck would be so good. Not only did he encounter multiple mystic realms, but he even encountered the legendary mystic realm owned by Bai Jing and the others. It would be a lie to say that he was not excited. Chapter 2695. In addition to being pleasantly surprised, Longao was also fearful. Although he already knew that there were 9 secret realms in the surroundings, and once he obtained them, he could create 9 half-step starry sky dominators, and the 9 of them joining forces, he knew what it meant. However, it would not be easy to obtain them. The continuous attacks of the 9 secret realms in the surroundings, needless to say, were extremely powerful. Now, the power of the 9 secret realms was almost the same as the power of the 9 white crystal dominators joining forces. Even so, Longao did not flinch in the slightest. He would never give up, because Longao knew very well what it meant to obtain the 9 secret realms. Just like that, in the midst of Longao's continuous counterattacks, he thought of all sorts of methods to see how he could subdue this so-called secret realm. The Chaos Axe appeared in his right hand and he struck out. The surrounding space was full of space cracks, dancing wantonly. It was very obvious. The power released by the secret realms was not as powerful as the Chaos Axe. Once the two collided, the power of the secret realms was directly swallowed by the space cracks, without the slightest suspense. But thinking about it, he understood. In the vast starry sky, the space cracks were definitely the most powerful force. As for which one was more powerful, according to Longao's guess, if the two were to be compared, the chaos force should be more powerful. The so-called space cracks should not be the real force, but even so, if one could possess such a heaven-defying divine ability, one could imagine what it meant. However, it was almost impossible to possess the space cracks. Even Longao had only cultivated to the 5th revolution of the 9-revolution chaos formula before he could shatter the starry sky. It was almost impossible to truly master the space crack. Longao could still resist at first, and even fight back a few times. However, his physical strength was limited, and it was impossible for him to attack endlessly unless he was not human. Gradually, Longao was gradually unable to resist. At this rate, not to mention obtaining the 9 secret realms, it was unknown whether he could even see the 9 secret realms. It was very depressing. If it were other things, Longao would not take such a risk. Only the mystic realm. Even if the secret realms were not as good as the primal chaos stone tablets, to cultivators in the starry skies, they were still things that they could only dream of. Moreover, there were 9 secret realms. Bai Jing and the others had 9 secret realms, and they could work together to create 9 secret realms. It would be a lie to say that he didn't want it. Even so, Longao was still unwilling to give up. What should he do? Various ideas flashed in Xiao Chen's mind as he tried to figure out how to control the 9 secret realms. The combined attack of the 9 great secret realms was too powerful. The only way was to suppress it by force. Other than this method, Longao could not think of a better way to control the 9 great mystery realms. How was he going to suppress the 9 secret realms by force? For some reason, Longao had a feeling that only his primordial spirit could suppress the 9 great mystic realms. What was going on? If it was in the past, Longao would not have dared to do so. After all, the primordial spirit was not immortal. Once it was damaged or destroyed, it would be a real death. Not to mention ordinary Starry Skies cultivators, even the Starry Skies ruler would not dare to use the primordial spirit casually. But now, the situation was completely different. Since his primordial spirit had merged with the primordial chaos 9-colored lotus, forming the 9-colored lotus primordial spirit, in addition to reaching an immortal state, Longao had another intuition that his primordial spirit would be heaven-defying in the future. He did as he thought. Longao did not want any accidents to happen. After all, the temptation of the 9 great mystic realms was too great. Longao released his primordial spirit. The 9-colored lotus primordial spirit instantly counterattacked the surrounding forces. Just like Longao's intuition, no matter what the surrounding forces were, as long as they attacked the lotus primordial spirit, they would be completely devoured. He was overjoyed. It seemed that his intuition was right. The lotus primordial spirit was already very strong. Even the combined attack of the 9 great mystic realms could not destroy his lotus primordial spirit. In that case, he would not hold back. Longao began to rely on his primordial spirit to continuously devour and move quickly. According to his intuition, he quickly locked on to the hiding places of the 9 great mystic realms. There was no hesitation at all. Locking onto the target was one thing, and suppressing it was another. The first place. It was a square black stone. Longao recognized at first glance that the black stone in front of him was the so-called mystic realm. He was extremely surprised. Longao knew that it would be a little difficult to control the mystic realm with his own strength, so he directly used his primordial spirit. His primordial spirit aura directly covered the mystic realm. Just as Longao had guessed, his lotus primordial spirit seemed to be the nemesis of the mystic realm. After the primordial spirit aura covered the mystic realm, there was no resistance at all. With a swoosh, the mystic realm disappeared without a trace. He was extremely excited. However, he had just obtained the first mystic realm of the 9 great mystic realms. There were a total of 8 mystic realms left. 3 months later. Soaring Dragon Empire. Longao had successfully obtained the 9 great mystic realms. As soon as he returned to the Soaring Dragon Empire yesterday, he began to think about who should he get the 9 great mystic realms. The 9 great mystic realms could not only create 9 half-step starry sky dominators, but also 9 of them working together. Who should he choose? Whether it was the Chaos Stone Tablet or the Mystic Realm, he had to choose carefully. He could not afford to make the slightest mistake. Gang Mu, Jin Chen, and Yi Chong were all peak starry sky immortals and had joined the Soaring Dragon Empire. Most importantly, he had promised the 3 of them that as long as they joined the Soaring Dragon Empire, he would make them into half-step starry sky dominators. Master, why are you looking for us? Gang Mu, Jin Chen, and Yi Chong were guest elders of the Soaring Dragon Empire. With their strength, their status in the Soaring Dragon Empire was very high. In the beginning, the 3 of them were a little unhappy. After all, their strength was there for all to see. However, when they found out that there was a Starry Sky Dominator in the Soaring Dragon Empire, and that there was more than one Starry Sky Dominator, the 3 of them had no complaints. Even a Starry Sky Dominator had joined the Soaring Dragon Empire, let alone them. I'll tell you later. The 3 of them were very curious. They did not know why the master was looking for them. However, the 3 of them did not continue to ask. Instead, they sat quietly on the side. After a while, 6 figures appeared at the same time. They were none other than Long Ao's 4 uncles, Long Li, Long Jian, Long Lin, Long Hua, second brother Long Chen, and third brother Long Shi. Chapter 2696. Aoer, why are you looking for us? Long Ao's second uncle, Long Li, asked curiously. Ever since Long Ao's rise, he had become the most legendary figure in the Long family. Even the people in front of him rarely saw Long Ao. Because of this, everyone was very curious. They didn't know why Long Ao suddenly looked for them. Not only Long Li, but the others were also very curious. There were 9 people in front of Long Ao. They were Gang Mu, Yi Chong, Jin Chen, Long Li, Long Jian, Long Lin, Long Hua, Long Chen, and Long Shi. Cough, 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 cough. Long Ao said, "From now on, you will cultivate together. I hope you can help each other." What did this mean? Although Long Li and the others had successfully broken through to the Starry Sky Cultivator with the help of Long Ao, compared to the 3 of them, they were not on the same level. What did Aoer mean? "Seventh brother, what are you doing?" Long Shi immediately shut his mouth when he saw 7th brother give him a meaningful glance. Jin Chen and the others were actually very uncomfortable. The reason they chose to enter the Soaring Dragon Empire was all because of Long Ao. It could be said that without Long Ao, they wouldn't have entered the Soaring Dragon Empire even if they were beaten to death. However, since things had already turned out this way, the 3 of them did not have the slightest complaint. It was just that from now on, they would have to cultivate together with the 6 people beside them. Jin Chen's expression was a bit ugly. "Master, I want to ask, what do you mean by this?" Long Li and the others didn't speak. In their opinion, even if their strength had greatly increased, they were still not on the same level as half-step Star Sky rulers. Asking 3 peak Star Sky immortals to cultivate with the 6 of them was indeed a bit difficult. "You don't want to?" Long Ao wasn't angry at all. Although he said he would give the 3 a chance, he still needed to see their attitude. Without waiting for Jin Chen to speak, Long Ao said in compensation, "They are my family." A simple sentence was enough to express Long Ao's attitude. Long Li and the other 5 were very touched. This was because as Long Ao's strength grew stronger, he had actually walked further and further away from them. However, they did not expect that Long Ao was still the same Long Ao. He had never changed. Jin Chen's expression changed again. He was not a fool. Of course, he knew that although Long Ao had a smile on his face, The meaning in his words showed that he was very dissatisfied. The three of them were on the same side previously, but when it came to their relationship, it wasn't that great. Gang Mu and Yi Chong said respectfully, "We are willing." Jin Chen despised the two of them, but he didn't say anything. Asking him, a peak starry sky immortal, to accompany a few starry sky cultivators was simply a joke. Humiliation. To Jin Chen, this was a humiliation in and of itself. How could Longao not know what Jin Chen was thinking? He smiled. "Although you have joined my soaring dragon empire and are my imperial guest elder, I can't order you to do anything. However, there are some things." Having said that, Longao did not continue to say anything to Jin Chen, because he had already given him a chance. If he couldn't even show the least bit of respect, why should he waste a secret realm for nothing? Longao knew very well that if the 9 of them obtained the secret realm at the same time, they must unite to unleash the greatest power. Now that Jin Chen was unwilling to be with his family, it was obvious what Jin Chen would do in the future. How could he let go of such a person? As for Gang Mu and Yi Chong, they secretly rejoiced. The two of them knew Longao's character very well. Especially now, it was impossible for Longao to do this for no reason. As long as one was not a fool, one would know that there was no benefit in cultivating together. Why would he do this? The only explanation was that Longao must have another purpose. Wait a moment. With Longao's current strength, in the soaring dragon realm, he could casually use spiritual sense to inform anyone. After a short while, Longao's fourth brother, Long Yi, came quickly, which made Jin Chen and the others very curious. They did not know what Longao meant. "Seventh brother, you're looking for me?" He nodded. "Jin Chen, there's nothing for you to do here. You can leave first." Jin Chen had a bad feeling, but things had already come to this. He could not continue to stay here. No matter what, he was the one who said that just now. "I'll go first. If Master needs any help, just tell me. I, Jin Chen, will not refuse to do anything that I can do." "Thank you." After Jin Chen left, Gang Mu said helplessly, "Master, no matter what, I will always be a person of the Soaring Dragon Empire." "Me too." Gang Mu and Yi Chong were not fools. They were almost certain that Longao suddenly looked for them, and it must be something good. When an opportunity comes, you must seize it. Otherwise, once you miss it, you won't even have the chance to regret it. Longao was very satisfied with the two's words. He smiled and said, "If you two mind, why don't you make a blood oath?" A blood oath may not have any restrictions on a starry sky ruler, but it was no problem for a peak starry sky immortal. But the two were a little surprised. They did not know what Longao meant, and why he wanted them to make a blood oath. However, the more Longao acted like this, the more certain the two of them were in their hearts. Longao must have asked them to come here for a good thing. Otherwise, Longao wouldn't be so idle as to have nothing to do. Without the slightest hesitation, the two did not even ask a question. They each made a blood oath. From beginning to end, Long Li and the others did not speak because they could not get a word in. On one side was the legendary Longao, and on the other side was a high and mighty peak starry sky immortal. This time, I called the 9 of you here mainly because of one thing. Perhaps Longao still did not believe the two of them, so he made the two of them swear a blood oath. No matter what, the matter of the secret territory was too important, and they could not afford to be careless. As for Long Yi and the others, Longao did not have the slightest doubt because the 6 of them were his family. If even his family did not believe him, then wouldn't it be a tragedy? The 9 pricked up their ears to listen to see what was going on. That made Longao so cautious, especially when he made 2 peak starry sky immortals make a blood oath. "Not long ago, I followed Yun Er's instructions and went to the secret realm he mentioned. My luck was not bad and I obtained 9 secret realms." Secret realms? Gang Mu and Yi Chong were completely shocked when they heard the word secret realms. They never thought that Longao would be talking about secret realms. Chapter 2697. 9 Secret Realms? Whether it was Gangmu or Yichong, they knew very well what 9 secret realms meant. If there were no accidents, 9 secret realms could create 9 half-step starry sky dominators. They didn't even dare to think about it. But one had to know. The top 9 starry sky empires only had 9 half-step starry sky dominators. What about the soaring dragon empire? They had 2 half-step starry sky dominators, Miao Ling, and Long Tuesday. If they could create 9 more half-step starry sky dominators, the soaring dragon empire would have 2 and 11 half-step starry sky dominators. It was hard to believe. Longao didn't hide anything and told them the secret of the 9 secret realms. Until now, the 9 finally knew why Longao asked them to cultivate together. Poor Jinchen, he missed the chance to become a half-step starry sky dominator. Gangmu and Yichong didn't think that Longao was wrong. In any case, there was no need to talk about the value of the secret territory. If they were replaced by Longao, perhaps they would be even more extreme than him. Longao also did not continue to hesitate and gave all of the 9 great secret realms to the 9 people. You 9 try to refine the secret realms in your hands. I hope you can become a half-step starry sky dominator soon. The 9 were very clear about the soaring dragon empire's situation. The 9 of them nodded and left in a single file. Outside, Jin Chen didn't leave. He refused because he was too angry and didn't want to be humiliated. But after leaving, he gradually found that something was wrong. It was not like Longao had nothing better to do. Why would he look for the 3 of them for no reason? Moreover, he wanted the 3 of them to cultivate together with the other 6 people. There must be something fishy going on. As for what it was, he couldn't figure it out yet. At this moment, when Jin Chen saw the 9 people walking out of the building, he had a bad feeling about this. Gangmu Yichong, I have something to talk to you about. This. If it was before, the 2 would have built a good relationship with Jin Chen. After all, they were outsiders to the soaring dragon empire. Even if they were guest elders, they wouldn't leave. But now, the situation was completely different. When Longao gave them the secret realm and allowed them to cultivate with the 6 of them, the 2 of them already knew that Longao treated them as his own people. Especially now. Jin Chen's previous actions had gradually alienated him from the soaring dragon empire. If the 2 of them were to get too close to Jin Chen, they were afraid that Longao would become suspicious. Previously, the 2 of them did not believe that Longao could let them obtain the mystic realm. He didn't even dare to think about it. But in the end, Longao really did it. At this moment, the 2 of them admired Longao so much that they wanted to prostrate themselves before him. After all, he had helped them become half-step starry sky rulers, which was akin to giving them a new lease of life. Because of this, the 2 of them had unconsciously distanced themselves from Jin Chen. Although it was almost negligible, Jin Chen could still clearly sense the changes in their hearts. He was very shocked. The more it was like this, the more Jin Chen had a bad premonition in his heart. It seemed that this matter was not as simple as it seemed. You 2, no matter what, we have always been friends. Can't you even give me a chance to talk? It was very bitter. Jin Chen was not a fool. Of course, he knew why the 2 of them were distancing themselves from him. If he was not mistaken, it was because of what had happened just now. The 2 of them sighed helplessly. Even if Jin Chen was very unhappy with what had happened just now, he was still a guest elder of the Soaring Dragon Empire. As the saying went, they would meet frequently. It was not good to completely fall out with him. The 3 of them came to a pavilion. There were only rockery and a lotus pond around. There was no one else. You 2, I want to ask, what happened after I left just now? They were not surprised at all. Because the 2 of them had already guessed that Jin Chen had come to them this time because of this matter. Could they say it? The matter of the secret realm could be big or small. Before Longao spoke, they did not know what to say. You two, I can make a blood oath that I will not say a word about what you two said to me today. How about it? Before the two of them could react, Jin Chen had already made the blood oath. Since things had already come to this, what else could the two of them say? Gang Mu sighed deeply and said helplessly, Jin Chen, you have made a big mistake this time. It was originally a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but you gave it up just like that. Just as Gang Mu finished speaking, Yi Chong continued, since we are already the guest elders of the Soaring Dragon Empire, whatever the sovereign says goes. He just wants us to cultivate with his family, so it's not a disgrace to us. I didn't expect that you would. Although Yi Chong did not finish his words, the meaning in his words was very clear. As long as Jin Chen was not a fool, he could understand it. You two, even if we joined the Soaring Dragon Empire and became guest elders of the Empire, we are still at the peak Starry Sky Immortal Realm. However, Longao's family only wants us to cultivate with them. It is really a bit too much. Gang Mu and Yi Chong were a little angry. If not for their friendship with Jin Chen, just because of what he said just now, they would definitely stand up and leave immediately. Jin Chen, please don't say such words in the future, especially in front of us. Now I finally know why the master did not want you to join. If it were me, I would do the same. Hearing Gang Mu's words, Jin Chen's heart moved. It seemed that his guess was right. There was definitely something fishy about this matter. If they did not get any benefits, they would not act like this even if they were beaten to death. What exactly was it that made them act like this? Jin Chen couldn't think of a reason no matter how he thought about it. From the beginning to the end, Jin Chen didn't think about the direction of the secret territory. Because in his opinion, how could Longao obtain the secret territory? The secret territory wasn't cabbage that could be found on the street. How could the two of them not know what Jin Chen was thinking? Yi Chong smiled and said, Jin Chen, since we're friends, I'll tell you. Originally, the three of us were summoned by the sect master to refine the secret realm. This time, the power of the secret realm needs to be combined to maximize the power of the realm. That's why he asked us to cultivate together. Do you understand? Secret realm? It was actually a secret realm? Jin Chen was shocked because even if he was beaten to death, he would never have thought that Longao really summoned them this time for the secret realm. If that was the case, then he had completely missed a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It would be a lie to say that he did not regret it. Chapter 2698. 9 people? Didn't that mean that Longao obtained a total of 9 great mystic realms this time? It was unbelievable. Jin Chen's intuition told him that neither Yi Chong nor Gang Mu would lie to him. Regret. Extreme regret. At the moment, Jin Chen was filled with regret. If he had disguised himself just now, he would have also obtained a mystic realm and become a half-step star sky ruler in the future. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but he had wasted it. How could he accept it? Can the two of you help me? Yi Chong and Gang Mu certainly knew what Jin Chen meant. If it was something else, they might have helped, but this was absolutely impossible. Jin Chen's previous behavior had told Longao that he despised his family. Just ask. If it had been someone else, they would have driven Jin Chen out of the Soaring Dragon Empire. For other forces, a peak star immortal was indeed the most powerful existence. Once a peak star immortal joined, they would receive the best treatment. But what about Longao and the Soaring Dragon Empire? Not necessarily. The reason was simple. Although they didn't know how Longao did it, the Soaring Dragon Empire now had 2 rulers of the starry sky. The 3 of them knew better than anyone else what it meant. Unwilling to stay any longer, the 2 of them immediately got up and bade farewell. They didn't even give Jin Chen a chance to speak before they turned around and left quickly. In just a short while, they had already disappeared without a trace. Jin Chen's face was extremely gloomy as he watched the figure disappear. It was as ugly as it could get. Longao, you did it on purpose. Since you didn't want to give me a secret domain, why did you trick me? In that case, don't blame me for being impolite. Jin Chen wasn't a fool. Even if he was a peak star immortal, it was impossible for him to deal with Longao or the Soaring Dragon Empire unless he didn't want to live anymore. Not to mention the others, just the 2 starry sky dominators in the Soaring Dragon Empire could easily destroy him. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid. Until this moment, Jin Chen still couldn't figure out why the 2 star dominators were so willing to guard the Soaring Dragon Empire. He really couldn't figure it out. Humans were like this. It was obvious that they were wrong, but they didn't find fault with themselves. Instead, they put all the blame on others. At this moment, Jin Chen had already determined that this was Longao's mistake. He was toying with him, especially when he heard that Yi Chong and Gang Mu had obtained a secret domain while he didn't. He was filled with anger and resentment. The 3 of them had entered the Soaring Dragon Empire at the same time, and they were all guest elders of the Soaring Dragon Empire. Why were the other 2 able to obtain the secret territory, but he couldn't? They were looking down on him. The more Jin Chen, the more he became angrier and angrier. Let's wait and see. Longao handed over the 9 great secret realms without a hitch. He heaved a sigh of relief. The Soaring Dragon Empire's strength was not to be underestimated. 2 starry sky rulers. If 9 people could become half-step starry sky rulers, then there would be a total of 11 half-step starry sky rulers. No one knew better than Longao what this meant. In Aoshua's courtyard, Aoshua couldn't figure it out. In the end, she said, "Brother Ao, I'm a little curious. Since you've obtained 9 secret domains, why didn't you give one to Yun-Er? That way, Yun-Er can use it to break through to the half-step star dominator." Aoshua felt very uncomfortable. She knew exactly what her son was. She knew it better than anyone else. Although Yun-Er was a starry sky legend at birth, no matter how hard she tried, she didn't make any progress. As her mother, she was very anxious. If she stayed stagnant like this, it would be troublesome. Regarding what Ao Shui was thinking in his heart, how could Longao not know? "Aoshua, I know what you mean. I've thought about giving one of the secret domains to Yun-Er. That way, he can break through to the half-step star dominator. But I gave up in the end." "Why?" Aoshua asked impatiently. She knew Longao's character very well. If there was something good, it was impossible for him not to think about the people closest to him. In the current Soaring Dragon Empire, 60% of the people closest to Longao had either devoured the primal chaos stone tablets or secret realms. If so, why did Brother Ao do this? She couldn't figure it out. "I've checked Yun-Er's constitution. It's very special. It's not suitable for devouring secret domains. If he forcefully devours it, he can temporarily become a half-step star dominator. But if he has the chance to devour a tablet in the future, Yun-Er will probably fail." "Ah, so that's it." Aoshua finally understood why Brother Ao didn't let her son devour secret domains. So it was because of this. Fortunately, Yun-Er didn't devour a secret domain. Otherwise, it would really delay things. The temptation of a secret domain was great. But compared to a tablet, it wasn't on the same level. On one side was a secret domain. On the other side was a tablet. As long as one wasn't a fool, they would know which one to choose. However, Ao Shui's face was also very solemn. The primal chaos stone tablets were not cabbages that could be found in the market. Previously, Brother Ao had already obtained 12 primal chaos stone tablet. However, they had all been distributed. There were no extra primal chaos stone tablet. If she couldn't get a tablet in the future, then her son wouldn't dare to imagine. How could Longao not know what Ao Shui was thinking? He said, "Ao Shui, I can tell you clearly that there are thousands of chaos stone tablets in this vast starry sky. However, for some reason, these chaos stone tablets have disappeared. If we're lucky, let's not even talk about one Chaos Stone tablet. I believe that even if there are hundreds or even thousands of Chaos Stone tablets, we can successfully obtain them. When that time comes, Yun-Er will be able to successfully devour the Chaos Stone tablets and become the ruler of the starry sky. What if we can't get a tablet? What will Yun-Er do then? She was worried. Longao did not mind at all. No matter what, Aoshue was only acting this way because she was concerned about Yun-Er. Longao only smiled and did not say anything else because he knew very well that under these circumstances, no matter how much he said, it would be useless before he obtained the primal Chaos Stone tablet. As if she realized she was being unreasonable, Aoshue smiled and said, "I know what you're thinking. As long as you put your heart into it, it's fine. I don't want our son to be stagnant forever." Chapter 2699. In the main hall. "Master, I want to leave the Empire." Hearing Jin Chen's words, Longao was curious as to why Jin Chen would choose to leave. However, Longao was not a fool. He immediately knew that Jin Chen must have known about the 9 great secret lands, and the ones who leaked it were undoubtedly Yi Chong and Gang Mu. He felt very uncomfortable. Since things had already turned out this way, there was nothing he could do. The secret lands were too important, and Jin Chen's attitude was like that. If he gave the secret lands to Jin Chen, he would not feel at ease. "In that case, I won't keep you." Humph! Jin Chen did not even try to keep him. Thinking of this, Jin Chen's resentment grew. "Goodbye." He turned around and left without any hesitation. The news of Jin Chen leaving the Empire spread across the entire Soaring Dragon Empire. After all, Jin Chen was different from others. He was a peak starry sky immortal. Yi Chong and Gang Mu also knew what had happened. It was their fault for talking too much. However, Longao did not blame them at all. The matter was over. Back Mountain. "Longao, what do you think of Jin Chen's sudden departure?" Towards Purple Spirit, Longao did not hide anything in the slightest either, roughly recounting the matter. "Humph!" Xiling snorted heavily. His voice was extremely cold as he said, "Jin Chen obviously looked down on the people of the Empire. This kind of person wants to get the secret lands. What a fool!" Towards Ziling's rage, how could Longao not know? Not to mention Xiling, even he was a little unhappy. He had given Jin Chen a chance, but Jin Chen did not seize it. He could not blame anyone else. If Jin Chen hadn't looked down on his family, he would have had a place in the 9 great mystic realms. Longao, Jin Chen did not get the secret lands this time. He will definitely hold a grudge. You have to be careful. What do you mean? That's right. If Jin Chen tells the marvelous mathematician and the others about the Empire's location, we will be in trouble. Longao also thought of this, but he felt that it was impossible. No matter what. With Jin Chen's strength and status, he wouldn't do such a despicable thing. Xiling, of course, knew what Longao was thinking. He said helplessly, "This isn't the first time something like this has happened. Have you forgotten what happened before?" He nodded. Even if Jin Chen is a peak starry sky undying, it's still impossible for him to meet a starry sky ruler. As for the 9 half-step starry sky rulers, they've already split up. It's better to be safe than sorry. Both Violet Spirit and Longao knew very well what it would mean if Jin Chen told Master God Diviner and the others about the location of the Empire. Even if the Soaring Dragon Empire was no longer what it used to be, it was still no match for the godly mathematician. But you have to know. Other than the God Diviner and Yi Dugu, there were also Long Ming and Long Mia. A total of 6 rulers of the starry sky. What kind of concept was this? Longao also knew what Xiling meant. This matter was indeed a little troublesome. They couldn't possibly continue to shift the Empire's position. If there was even the slightest mistake in the process of shifting, the Empire would probably fall into eternal damnation. Xiling, what do you think we should do now? Long Chang, Primal Chaos Rock, and I will work together to seal the soaring dragon empire. This was the best solution out of all possible solutions. If they didn't seal the empire, the godly mathematician and the others would be in big trouble when they came. How confident are you in stopping the godly mathematician? Let's find Long Chang and the Primal Chaos Rock first. The three of us need to discuss this. They nodded. In the blink of an eye, Long Chang and the Primal Chaos Rock arrived. After this period of recuperation, the Primal Chaos Rock had recovered somewhat. However, it was still a little impossible for it to fully recover. As soon as the two arrived, Longao roughly explained the situation. After listening to him, Long Chang and the Primal Chaos Rock's expressions became grave. After all, the other side was a total of 6 rulers. Big brother, according to my calculations, even if the 3 of us work together to set up the seal, the godly mathematician and Yi Dugu alone might be able to resist it. However, if there are 6 of them, it's a little unrealistic. Although Long Chang didn't say it explicitly, the meaning was clear. Not only Longao, but Xiling and the Primal Chaos Rock already knew. The 2 of them nodded to show that they agreed with Long Chang. How could Longao not know about this? The current situation was critical. Who knew if Jin Chun had revealed his disappearance to the godly mathematician and the others? Big brother, when Jin Chun wanted to leave, why didn't you stop him? Or we can just kill him to avoid any future troubles. Although Jin Chun was a peak Starry Sky immortal expert, the current soaring dragon empire could easily kill him in a matter of minutes. Not to mention the 2 Starry Sky rulers, just Miao Ling, and Long Tu could easily kill Jin Chun. That was precisely why Long Chang couldn't figure out why his big brother didn't stop Jin Chun. If he had killed him, it would have saved them a lot of trouble. Longao smiled helplessly and said, Jin Chun just left. We can't be sure if he will betray us. Under such circumstances, it's not appropriate for us to act by force. Not appropriate? Long Chang didn't think so. After refining the Primal Chaos Tablet and becoming a ruler, Long Chang was completely different. In his opinion, even if there was no reason to kill Jin Chun, it was a very normal thing to do. In the vast starry sky, strength was revered. Whoever was stronger would be the sky. Killing a person was no different from stepping on an ant. However, since Longao had already said so, Long Chang only sighed in his heart but did not say anything. The Primal Chaos Rock, who had been silent all this time, suddenly said, I believe everyone has seen how powerful Longao's Starry Sky control is. If he can keep the space crack open, then even if the godly mathematician and the others come together, we won't have to worry. Everyone knew what the Primal Chaos Rock meant. There was no need to say more about the power of the space crack. Even the rulers of the universe wouldn't dare touch it casually. It was easy to think about, but it was very difficult to actually do it. It was almost impossible. Longao sighed helplessly and said with a smile, My control over the starry sky can temporarily shatter the starry sky. If I want to maintain the crack in the starry sky, it is almost impossible. He didn't continue. Since it was impossible, there was no point in continuing. Chapter 2700. For a moment, the 4 of them didn't know what to do. In any case, the combined strength of the marvelous mathematician and the other 5 was a bit abnormal. It seemed a bit impossible to rely on the strength of the 3 of them to seal the empire. Longao's face was very dignified. What should he do? After thinking about it, he still couldn't come up with a good solution. He had now cultivated the 9-revolution chaos formula to the 6th revolution, which was the so-called starry sky control. As for the 7th revolution, Longao was very much looking forward to it, because after seeing the power of the first 6 revolutions, he knew how powerful the 7th revolution would be. It was easier said than done to break through the 7th revolution from the 6th revolution. It was very helpless. Longao also didn't know when he could break through the 7th revolution of the 9-revolution chaos formula. Big brother, why don't I kill Jinchen now? That way we won't have to worry about anything. If it was something else, Longao would definitely not agree. But the situation was completely different now. If he was unlucky and Jinchen really told the marvelous mathematician and the other 5 about the Empire's location, then he and the Empire would be in a passive position. Previously, Jinchen just wanted to leave and didn't do anything, so he couldn't do anything. Seeing that his big brother didn't speak, it was a tacit agreement. All of a sudden, Long Chong's figure had disappeared without a trace. With Long Chong's strength, it was almost a matter of minutes to kill Jinchen. Longao, I just said that in the vast starry sky, strength is everything. Even if Jinchen won't betray us, for the safety of the Empire, especially during this critical period, we have to kill him. How could Longao not know what Xiling meant? Although Jinchen's previous actions made him very uncomfortable, no matter what, Jinchen was still a guest elder of the Empire. If he killed him when he wanted to leave, if this matter spread out, who would dare to join the Soaring Dragon Empire in the future? As for whether Jinchen would betray him and the Empire, no one knew now. But things had already come to this. Even if he didn't want to, Long Chong had already taken action. At this moment, it was obviously impossible to stop him. He sighed deeply. I owe Jinchen. For the sake of the Empire, Longao knew that he had to sacrifice Jinchen. Otherwise, there was no other way. The God Diviner and the other 5 were too strong. If they joined forces, they could easily suppress Long Chong and Xiling. The Empire was the bottom line. No matter what happened, nothing must happen to the Empire. Nothing must happen to anyone. There were many people in the Soaring Dragon Empire who had devoured the Primal Chaos Tablet, but no one had been able to successfully refine the Primal Chaos Tablet and become a Starry Sky Dominator. If everyone could refine the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet and become a ruler of space, then the situation could be reversed. But was it possible? Primal Chaos Stone Tablets were not the same as Mystic Realms. Wanting to completely refine them was easier said than done. Longao, you have to know one thing. Even if we kill Jinchen, we can't let our guard down. Xiling said with a serious face. The God Diviner devoured the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet after all. His ability to calculate is obvious to all. Although I don't know why the God Diviner couldn't calculate the Empire's location, but, at this point, Violet's spirit did not continue, but the meaning of her words was very clear. Regarding this point, how could Longao not know? This was also what he was most anxious about. If this matter was not resolved, the Empire's danger would never be resolved. But to resolve this matter, it was not as simple as just saying. Seeing Longao remain silent, Xiling had already guessed Longao's thoughts. He sighed helplessly. Leaving the Soaring Dragon Empire. The hatred in Jinchen's heart grew stronger and stronger. He couldn't wait to destroy Longao, destroy Gangmu and Yichong, destroy the Soaring Dragon Empire, and even destroy everyone. At this moment, Jinchen had gone to the extreme. He blamed all the mistakes on others, but he didn't do anything wrong. Jinchen snorted coldly. Longao, you want to hide the Empire's location, but I'm going to spread this secret across the vast starry sky. You don't have a chance. Who is it? Hearing the sudden voice, Jinchen didn't even have time to react before he was locked down by a terrifying force. He couldn't even move. Starry Sky Ruler. Jinchen shouted in surprise. The moment he was locked down, Jinchen had already guessed the identity of the other party. There were 2 Starry Sky Rulers in the Soaring Dragon Empire. Everyone knew that one was the Sword Will Starry Sky Ruler, and the other was the 5 Elements Starry Sky Ruler. Was this person Xiling or Long Chong? Seeing Long Chong suddenly appear in front of him, Jinchen's face became gloomier. He wasn't a fool. Of course, he knew why Long Chong had come. He regretted saying that. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid of death. If it were someone else, even if the other party was a half-step Starry Sky ruler, Jin Chun would definitely fight. Even if he couldn't win, he could run. But now, the situation was completely different. Long Chong in front of him was the Five Elements Starry Sky ruler. He wasn't on the same level as the other party. If the other party wanted to kill him, it would be a piece of cake. Can you not kill me? What do you think? Long Chong smiled. He wasn't like other people. After refining the Primal Chaos Tablet and becoming a Starry Sky ruler, his personality had changed completely. Human lives were nothing to the Long Chong now. They were no different from ants. Seeing that Jin Chun seemed to want to say something, Long Chong sneered and waved his hand. Jin Chun, you don't have the chance to leak the location of the Empire. Sorry, I don't have much time to accompany you. As soon as he finished speaking, Long Chong's figure disappeared. Jin Chun, who was about to fight back, fell down heavily. He couldn't even resist a single move. This was the absolute gap in strength. The gap between a peak Starry Sky immortal and a Starry Sky ruler was like heaven and earth. They weren't on the same level. If a Starry Sky ruler wanted to kill a peak Starry Sky immortal, he wouldn't even need a single move. As for Long Chong, he was an exception. A special exception, because he could fight against 6 Starry Sky rulers alone. This kind of thing seemed to have never happened before in the vast Starry Sky. It was unprecedented. Humph, your death is not to be regretted. Long Chong glanced coldly at the fallen Jin Chun and waved his hand. Jin Chun's body instantly disappeared without a trace. Long Chong didn't stay any longer. He turned around and left quickly. In a short while, he disappeared without a trace. Chapter 2701. Long Chong didn't tell Longao about Jin Chun. In Long Chong's view, Jin Chun was just an ant. There was no need to tell his big brother that he had killed an ant. Back peak. Inside the forbidden area, Longao was running the 9 revolution chaos formula quickly, hoping to break through from the 6th revolution to the 7th revolution. Longao's intuition told him that if he could successfully break through the 9 revolution chaos formula, then his strength could be improved further. But what Longao cared about the most was not the improvement of his strength. Mastering the Starry Sky. The 5th revolution of the 9 revolution Starry Sky was to shatter the Starry Sky, and the 6th revolution was to master the Starry Sky. Not only could it create cracks in the Starry Sky, but it could also compress them. It was hard to imagine. If he could successfully break through the 7th revolution of the 9 revolution chaos formula, he might be able to master the Starry Sky. The current situation was very unfavorable for him. This was also the real reason why Longao was so anxious to practice the 9 revolution chaos formula. The 7th revolution of the 9 revolution chaos formula might be able to help him fight against the 6 people. It was easy to think about it, but difficult to do it. Not to mention the 7th revolution, just the first 6 revolutions. Longao had also experienced countless life and death situations before he finally broke through with great difficulty. According to this situation, God knew how long it would take to break through the 7th revolution from the 6th revolution. He couldn't wait. The more anxious he was, the harder it seemed to be to break through. He looked at the empire in front of him with a depressed look. The people living in it were his family. No matter who they were, he couldn't let anything happen to them. The threat of the 6 people was too great. He had to deal with this matter as soon as possible. Otherwise, if something happened in the future, he wouldn't even have the chance to regret. Brother Ao, Sister Tsung Lin is awake? Just as Longao was wholeheartedly cultivating the 9 revolution chaos mantra, Yuyin hurriedly rushed over and said in a very impatient manner. Hearing Yu Yin's words, Longao was overjoyed. After waiting for so long, this moment had finally come. I'll go first. The next second, Long Ao had already successfully entered Song Lin's room, and discovered that Song Lin, who was originally lying on the bed, had already sat up. As if guessing that Long Ao had returned, there was no one else in the room other than Song Lin. On the bed. At this moment, Song Lin's face was slightly pale. Although she had woken up, she had not fully recovered. What do you think? Long Ao gently walked to the bed and sat down. His voice was very gentle. Song Lin's expression was very cold. She said coldly, Long Ao, I will help you restore the array formation and reseal the entrance. Without waiting for Song Lin to finish, Long Ao already knew what Song Lin meant. Before Song Lin could finish, Long Ao said, Song Lin, no matter what you think, I, Long Ao, am not a casual person. From now on, you are my woman. Song Lin's face darkened when she heard this. You're not a casual person, but am I a casual person? We are not casual people. Song Lin, I already understand your feelings. If you are unwilling, do you dare to swear to your heart? You. Song Lin couldn't say anything after saying the word you 3 times. It would be a lie to say that she didn't like Long Ao. If Song Lin didn't like Long Ao, how could she casually help Long Ao reseal the entrance? She had almost lost her life by doing so. At this moment, Song Lin suddenly sighed deeply. Her expression turned lonely. She said helplessly, Long Ao, we can't be together. Why? Long Ao certainly knew that Song Lin's identity was not simple. It would be a lie to say that she was the ruler of the universe who had mastered the power of chaos. However, Long Ao didn't care in the slightest because no matter what happened, no matter when, he would not choose to give up. Long Ao, I believe that you have already guessed a bit of my identity. Even if I am willing, my family will not be willing. Moreover, I have come here this time mainly because I have a mission. When I complete it, I will leave this place. There was still no change in his expression, as if he was listening to something that had nothing to do with him. The more this was the case, the more worried Song Lin was. Long Ao, even if I am willing to stay, we can't be together. If they know of your existence, they will definitely not let you go. Song Lin's meaning was very clear. She was leaving to protect him. How could Long Ao not understand the meaning of Song Lin's words? Would he choose to retreat? If he chose to give up, then he wouldn't be Long Ao. He smiled and said, Song Lin, I know what you mean. I believe you have some understanding of my past. Back then, my strength was not as strong as it is now, but I was not afraid of anyone, including rulers of the universe and half-step rulers of the universe. Do you think there is anything that can make me choose to give up? Song Lin sighed deeply again. She already knew about Long Ao's past. The more this was the case, the more worried she was about Long Ao. If he acted recklessly, he might even lose his life in the end. Song Lin, I just said that you are my woman. Since you are my woman, I will not choose to give you up no matter when, unless I die. Before Song Lin could speak, Long Ao continued, If you want to leave, I can assure you that I will find you no matter where you are. No matter what your identity is, I will not retreat. If people block my way, I will kill them. If gods block my way, I will kill them. If people block my way, I will kill them. If gods block my way, I will kill them. Of course, Song Lin knew that Long Ao was not joking with her. She had been with Long Ao for hundreds of years and knew his character very well. Back then, Long Ao had dared to challenge a ruler of the universe. In the vast universe, was there anything that Long Ao did not dare to do? Song Lin, don't think about anything for now. Recuperate quietly. As for our matter, we will talk about it later. Not willing to say more, Long Ao said. Different situations call for different measures. Like I said before, I will not give up on you at any time. I hope that you will not give up on me. Unless you no longer like me, otherwise, no one can separate us, not even your family. Do you understand? Song Lin nodded obediently. The current Song Lin did not look like a ruler of the universe who had mastered the chaotic force. If Yun Lu and the others saw Song Lin's current appearance, they would be shocked. A short while later, Song Lin fell asleep. With Long Ao by her side, she slept very soundly, as if nothing in the world had anything to do with her. Chapter 2702. Looking at Song Lin, who was quietly lying on the bed, Long Ao's face instantly darkened. He wasn't a fool. He had already vaguely guessed that there was a mysterious and powerful family behind Song Lin. If even Song Lin was so powerful, one could imagine how powerful the family behind Song Lin was. It would be a lie if he said he wasn't afraid. For you, even if I have to become enemies with the entire universe, I won't hesitate. Long Ao stood up and slowly left the room. As soon as Long Ao left, Song Lin's eyes abruptly opened. Worry was written all over her face. Song Lin knew very well what it would mean if her family found out. Even if Long Ao's talent was extraordinary, it would be a fool's dream to contend against her family. What should she do? Long Ao, I'm sorry. I really don't want to implicate you. Only by leaving can I protect you. I'm sorry. In the next second, Song Lin's figure suddenly disappeared without a trace. 2 hours later, Yu-in asked curiously, Brother Ao, since you clearly knew Sister Song Lin would choose to leave, why didn't you say anything to stop her? Yu-in couldn't understand. Since Brother Ao liked Song Lin, why didn't he stop her? What was going on? She couldn't figure it out. She really couldn't figure it out. Long Ao's eyes were somewhat blurred. He sighed deeply and said helplessly, even if I forced Song Lin to stay, what's the use? If we don't solve the problem behind us, we won't be able to walk together. Brother Ao, is it very troublesome? Nodding, Long Ao said helplessly, it's very troublesome, very troublesome. Yu-in was very surprised. For so many years, no matter what danger they encountered, Brother Ao had never been like this. If even Brother Ao was like this, then this matter was indeed very troublesome. Brother Ao, is there anything we can do to help? He shook his head. You can't. If you can completely refine the primal chaos tablet and become the ruler of the universe, then you can help me. But now you can't help much. It was easy to say, but it was difficult to actually do it. Refining the primal chaos stone tablet was harder than ascending to the heavens. Within the soaring dragon empire, many people had devoured the primal chaos stone tablet. However, there was no one who could truly refine the primal chaos stone tablet. From this, one could imagine just how difficult it was to refine a primal chaos tablet and become a ruler of space. Yu-in wasn't a fool. Of course, she knew how powerful Song Lin's identity was. Perhaps even the divine mathematician couldn't compare to Song Lin. Brother Ao, what are you going to do? He thought for a moment. No matter who it is, anyone who tries to stop me from being with Song Lin will die. Yu-in did not have the slightest doubt because she believed very much that as long as Brother Ao thought of it, he would definitely be able to do it. Before Brother Ao, Starry Sky Dominators and Half-Step Starry Sky Dominators were invincible existences. However, after meeting Brother Ao, this situation had completely changed. Brother Ao, we will work hard to refine the primal chaos stone tablets. Yu-in knew that only by refining the primal chaos stone tablets as fast as possible could they become Starry Sky Dominators. Only then could they help Brother Ao with all their might. Otherwise, everything else would be nonsense. Long Ao didn't speak. He didn't hope to rely on others to resolve the matter between him and Song Lin. It was better to rely on oneself than on others, especially in front of one's lover. As for Yu-in and the others, although they had successfully devoured the primal chaos stone tablets, refining them wasn't that easy. Devouring was one thing, refining was another. Song Lin had already left, but Long Ao wasn't worried at all. Although Song Lin's injuries hadn't healed, in the vast universe, there seemed to be no one who could hurt her. Even the divine mathematician couldn't do it. It was very helpless. From the beginning to the end, Longao didn't ask about the origin of Tsang Lin's family. This was because Longao knew very well that if Tsang Lin didn't want to talk about it, it would be useless no matter how much he asked. If Tsang Lin wanted to talk about it, he didn't need to ask. Tsang Lin would probably tell him automatically. He was very irritated. On one hand, there was the matter of the divine mathematician and the empire. On the other hand, there was the matter of Tsang Lin. Both matters were very important. After weighing the pros and cons, Longao was still prepared to resolve the matter of the empire first. Comparing the two matters, Tsang Lin's matter could be delayed, but the empire's matter couldn't be delayed for even a moment. No one knew when the divine mathematician and the others would be able to lock onto the empire's position. If he was unlucky and the divine mathematician really locked onto the empire's position, even if he had the help of 2 starry sky dominators, it would be very difficult to resist the combined might of the 6. Thinking about the empire's matter, Longao's head hurt more and more, and he became even more irritated. For a moment, he didn't know what to do. He continued to cultivate the 9-revolution primal chaos mantra. The more impatient he was, the harder it would be for him to break through. Wanting to break through from the 6th revolution to the 7th revolution was simply impossible. No matter how hard Longao tried, it was to no avail. Long Chong, Xiling, and the primal chaos rock weren't idle. The 3 of them joined forces to constantly strengthen the barrier. Even if they couldn't truly block the divine mathematician and the others, if they could hold them back a little when the time came, it would give them some time to prepare. Longao didn't stop them. He naturally knew that the 3 of them had good intentions. Everything was in silence. He just needed to remember what the 3 of them had done. Tianwu Continent, Outer Sea, Crystal Palace. The divine mathematician and the others had been trying to lock onto Longao and the Soaring Dragon Empire's position this entire time. However, 100 years had passed, and they still hadn't been able to lock onto Longao or the Soaring Dragon Empire's position. It would be a lie to say that they weren't depressed. If it had been anyone else, it would have been fine. But Longao wasn't just a genius, he was also incomparably mysterious. Everything about him was strange. If they allowed him to continue developing, who knew what would happen to him? If one day Longao's cultivation base also broke through to the Starry Sky ruler realm, then even they wouldn't be able to suppress him. That kind of thing couldn't happen. They absolutely couldn't. The divine mathematician was only worried about one thing. That was that Longao might have already devoured the primal chaos tablet. If that was true, they would be in big trouble. What do you think we should do now? Yun Lu and the others weren't willing to help. With just the 4 of them, the divine mathematician knew that they couldn't lock onto the Soaring Dragon Empire's position. It was a complete waste of time. As for why they weren't helping, the divine mathematician couldn't figure it out. Yun Lu was one thing, but what about the others? Chapter 2703. Long Mie and the other 3 didn't look good. A small Longao was so difficult to deal with. In time, wouldn't Longao be invincible? They had to eliminate the root of the problem as soon as possible. Long Ming thought for a moment and said, "Master Clairvoyant, is there no other way to locate the Soaring Dragon Empire other than asking Yun Lu and the other dominators for help?" This point, not only Long Ming, but the other dominators were also curious. Even if Master Clairvoyant didn't master the power of chaos, he was still the dominator of the starry sky. Everyone had already witnessed Master God Diviner's ability to make predictions. Master Clairvoyant deliberately didn't want to calculate the location of the Soaring Dragon Empire? It seemed a little unlikely. No matter what, the feud between Master Clairvoyant and Longao had reached a point where one of them had to die. If Longao really became the dominator of the starry sky, the first person he would deal with would definitely be Master Clairvoyant. Among the 6 of them, the one who wanted to kill Longao the most was undoubtedly Master Clairvoyant, not them. How could Master Clairvoyant not know what the 4 were thinking? He was very unhappy, but under such circumstances, he didn't want to fall out with them. Without Longao, it would be easy to locate the Soaring Dragon Empire. What did this mean? Master Clairvoyant, do you mean that Longao interfered with your calculation? He nodded. Although he didn't want to admit it, the fact was in front of him. Otherwise, with his strength and calculation ability, he could almost solve it in minute. But the result? Longao is a variable that I can't control, and this variable will affect my calculation. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had such a headache for so many years. So that was it. The 4 didn't have the slightest doubt about this. After all, Master Clairvoyant didn't really master the power of chaos. When encountering a variable like Longao, he could only be helpless. In this case, should he just give up? He was a little unwilling. Master Clairvoyant, I have something to do. Let me know if you can locate the Soaring Dragon Empire. Goodbye. Before Master God Diviner could say anything, Dragon Annihilation had already stood up and left, disappearing without a trace. I have something to do too. Goodbye. Goodbye. It didn't take long for the 4 rulers of stars to leave. Yidugu's face was very gloomy. He coldly said, "What a group of shameless people. Not killing Longao seems to be beneficial to them." He waved his hand and stopped Yidugu. "The 4 of them just want to use me as a shield. From their point of view, even if Longao grows to our level, he will still be the one to deal with us. At that time, they can just sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight and then reap the benefits." At first, Yidugu hadn't thought of this. Now that he heard his father's words, he thought about it carefully and realized that this was indeed the case. The more it was like this, the angrier Yidugu became. He cursed the 4 of them for being shameless. The God Diviner wasn't angry at all. This was human nature. It would be strange if everyone didn't have selfish motives. Don't worry about them for now. Our top priority now is to find a way to lock onto Longao and the Soaring Dragon Empire's position. Yidugu was very surprised because he had never seen his father like this. It seemed that this Longao really put a lot of pressure on his father. "Father, what should we do now?" "Lock onto them." It was easy to say, but locking onto them was very difficult. The God Diviner was also very depressed. He thought that Yunlu and the others would agree. In this way, not only could he lock onto the Soaring Dragon Empire's position, but he could also borrow their strength to obtain the primal chaos energy in the God Diviner Chaos Tablet. It was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. But in the end, no one was willing to help. Without mastering the primal chaos energy, it was impossible to lock onto the Soaring Dragon Empire's position by relying on his own strength. If he could have done it earlier, he wouldn't have waited until now. The vast starry sky was calm and peaceful. Whether it was the 6 starry sky rulers or the 9 half-step starry sky rulers, almost no one knew about the battle with Longao, and no one leaked it out. Otherwise, these 2 matters alone would have caused a great uproar in the vast starry sky. Because whether it was the starry sky rulers or the half-step starry sky rulers, they were all powerful figures standing at the true peak of martial arts. No one could compete with such super existences. Longao was a special case, a madman, a monster. 3 months later, Longao chose to give up on the 9 revolution chaos technique because he found that he couldn't break through to the 7th revolution no matter what, and he was wasting time in vain. For the time being, he still couldn't think of a way to seal the Empire. Longao didn't continue to stay in the Empire. After leaving the Soaring Dragon Plane, he immediately headed towards the 9 planes. In the vast starry sky there were countless planes. Among all the planes, the 9 great starry sky empires were located in the 9 great starry sky empires. They were the peak existences of the countless planes, because each starry sky empire had a half-step starry sky ruler overseeing it. Moreover, the 9 great starry sky empires were the strongest existences of the peak human race. But now, with the sudden and rapid rise of Longao, all the peak starry sky immortals in the 9 great starry sky empires, including most of the starry sky immortals, were slaughtered. This was undoubtedly a huge blow to the 9 great starry sky empires. Fortunately, the 9 great starry sky empires still had half-step starry sky rulers overseeing it. Otherwise, it was easy to imagine what would have happened. Longao's cultivation had smoothly broken through the peak starry sky immortal realm, and his primordial spirit had merged with the chaotic 9-colored lotus. Therefore, the current Longao was completely confident in fighting a half-step starry sky ruler. As for whether he could defeat a half-step starry sky ruler, it was still unknown, because no one knew who would win or lose before a real life-and-death battle. If it were any other time, Longao would certainly not be so reckless. But now, the situation was completely different. He had to deal with the grandson of God and the others with all his strength. How could he divert his attention to deal with the 9 great starry sky empires? As for Xiling and Long Chong, they did not take action, because the 12 starry sky rulers had an agreement. No matter what, they could not intervene in the affairs of the vast starry sky, especially the affairs of the 9 great starry sky empires. Longao did not want to let Xiling and Long Chong take action. Moreover, he wanted to solve the affairs of the 9 great starry sky empires by himself. If Xiling and Long Chong really took action, then even if the 9 great starry sky empires joined forces, they would not be able to resist the 2 starry sky races. At that time, the 9 great starry sky empires would only be destroyed by the 2 starry sky rulers. Chapter 2704. There was a loud boom. The loud noise seemed to resound throughout the vast starry sky. What the hell happened? All the planes in the first realm were completely shocked, because they had just received the same news. The legendary lunatic was attacking the first plane in a frenzy. Madly attacking the first plane. Was Longao crazy? The first plane was different from other planes. It was the headquarters of the first starry sky empire. What did the first starry sky empire mean? The first starry sky empire was not only the absolute overlord of the first realm, but also one of the top superpowers in the vast starry sky. Although countless people knew that there was a great hatred between the first starry sky empire and Longao, they did not expect that Longao would dare to attack the first starry sky empire so crazily. He was seeking his own death. The first starry sky empire's peak starry sky immortals had all fallen, but there was still a half-step starry sky ruler. Could Longao be able to contend with a half-step starry sky ruler? It was almost impossible. Longao had only cultivated for a few years. Even if he was talented, it was impossible for him to contend with a half-step starry sky ruler in such a short time. Longao being able to kill a peak starry sky immortal in such a short time was a miracle in itself. Until now, no one believed it was true. The first plane. Longao was not only crazily killing, but also crazily attacking the first plane. This time, he came to completely destroy the first starry sky empire. He originally wanted to have a life and death battle with Bai Jing, but he did not expect that Bai Jing was not here. Forget about Bai Jing for now. After dealing with the first starry sky empire, he would find Bai Jing later. The 9 planes in the vast starry sky were completely different from other planes. Not to mention Longao, even a starry sky ruler could not destroy the 9 planes. After attacking for several minutes, the first plane was not damaged at all. Longao was not surprised at all. Before attacking, he had already guessed that this would be the result. He took a step forward. Longao's figure instantly disappeared from where he stood and stepped into the first plane. He had already slaughtered some people before, But the first Starry Sky Empire's people were all hiding in the first palace, and the first palace was protected by Bai Jing's secret domain. It was difficult for him to break it. Because of this, Longao Kai was outside the first realm, and he was attacking the first realm like a madman. The result? He could not destroy the first plane from the outside, and he could not break the secret domain from the inside. He was in a dilemma. Countless people were watching around the first plane. Everyone wanted to see the final result between Longao and the first Starry Sky Empire. If it was someone else, the result would not be so. Except for Longao. Longao's variable was too big. If it was before, no one would have believed that a small Longao could actually compete with the entire number 1 Starry Sky Empire. He didn't even dare to think about it. It was something that they didn't even dare to think about, but Longao actually did it. Wow, it's really Lord Bai Jing. Longao is finished this time. In everyone's opinion, Longao dared to attack the first plane so recklessly because Lord Bai Jing was not there. If Lord Bai Jing was in the first plane, Longao would not dare to do it even if he was beaten to death. In this case, many people despised Longao's actions and did not dare to openly deal with the number 1 Starry Sky Empire. Let's go in and see? Get lost, Lord Bai Jing has returned successfully. Longao is dead for sure. If we go back now, I'm afraid we will be implicated. Although they knew that they would be implicated if they stepped into the first plane, many people could not help but be curious. One by one, they followed Bai Jing into the first plane to see what would happen. In the first plane, Longao, who was still crazily attacking the first palace, suddenly frowned slightly. He turned around and saw the white crystal suddenly arriving. Although she had just returned, Bai Jing already knew what had happened. Her face instantly darkened, and it was as ugly as it could get. Bai Jing never thought that Longao would take advantage of her absence to come to the first plane to attack her headquarters. When Starry Sky left, he left the mystic realm in the first plane. Otherwise, his base camp would have been completely finished this time. She felt scared just thinking about it. Longao, what is the meaning of this? Bai Jing, including the other 8 half-step star dominators, knew that Longao was not the same as before. The 9 of them were not afraid of Longao, but of the 2 star dominators behind Longao. At this moment, the 9 of them knew that Longao had 2 star dominators behind him. This was the real reason why Bai Jing had left. Since knowing this, the 9 of them were unwilling to be enemies with Longao, even if Longao had killed all the Peak Starry Sky Immortals in their empire. They could continue to cultivate Peak Starry Sky Immortals, but if Longao went completely crazy and asked the 2 star dominators to deal with them, the consequences would be unimaginable. Bai Jing, shouldn't we settle our grudges once and for all? If it had been before, Bai Jing would not have been afraid of Longao. Even if Longao's cultivation had successfully broken through to the Peak Starry Sky Immortal realm, she was still confident that she could defeat him. If Longao did not have a heaven-defying Starry Sky divine weapon, she believed that Longao would have died long ago. How could he still be standing in front of her? But the situation was completely different now. Longao had 2 star dominators behind him. If she attacked, who knew what would happen? Longao is really arrogant. He wants to settle his grudges with the first Starry Sky Empire alone. He really doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. You don't know. Although Longao has just risen, he hasn't been killed by the 9 great Starry Sky Empires for so many years. Think about it. Do you really think he's a fool? If he didn't have full confidence, Longao wouldn't have dared to appear so easily and attack the first plane in front of Bai Jing. That's right. According to my guess, since Longao dared to come here so openly without any scruples, he must have made some preparations. Just wait and see. It's really unknown who will win and who will lose in this battle. Half of the people were optimistic about Longao, while the other half chose to believe in Bai Jing. It was still the same sentence. The outcome of this battle was still unknown. Just when everyone thought that Bai Jing would definitely fight Longao, the situation suddenly changed. Longao, how about we write off our grudges from now on? Chapter 2705. What did Bai Jing mean by that? They thought. Longao dared to attack the number 1 Starry Sky Empire so unscrupulously. Coupled with the previous grudge, Bai Jing would definitely kill Longao. In the end, Bai Jing chose to compromise. Was that true? That was definitely not true. His eyes must be playing tricks on him. He must have heard wrong. Because everyone believed that Bai Jing would definitely take action. They didn't expect such a result. Was Bai Jing afraid of Longao? That didn't seem possible. Bai Jing was a genuine half-step Starry Sky ruler, while Longao was only a peak Starry Sky immortal. The two weren't even on the same level. One was heaven, the other earth. Why was it so? Except for a few who knew, the others didn't know that Longao had 2 Starry Sky rulers by his side. If they knew, would they still think so? Looking at Bai Jing in front of him, Longao was a little surprised. Because he didn't expect Bai Jing to act like this. Even if Bai Jing chose to compromise, Longao knew very well that the grudge between them still had to be resolved. Cut the weeds and eliminate the roots to prevent future troubles. Bai Jing was still a half-step Starry Sky ruler. If Bai Jing joined forces with other half-step Starry Sky rulers again, who knows if they would still attack his family. Longao wouldn't let any accidents happen. The only solution was to completely destroy the 9 great Starry Sky empires and kill the 9 half-step Starry Sky rulers. Only then would he be foolproof. Bai Jing, do you think the grudge between us can be written off? Why not? Longao smiled. Bai Jing, it's not impossible to write it off. You just have to agree to 2 conditions. Speak. All the onlookers were completely stunned. No one was a fool. From the conversation between the two and their expressions, it was clear that Bai Jing had chosen to compromise at this moment. Unbelievable. Even if they saw it with their own eyes, they still felt it was a little unbelievable. They swallowed their saliva fiercely. This world was too crazy. A dignified half-step Starry Sky ruler was actually afraid of a peak Starry Sky immortal. Not to mention the others, even the people from the first Starry Sky Empire were a little dumbfounded. They did not know what was wrong with their ancestor, and why he had to endure it. Since Bai Jing had returned, everyone from the first Starry Sky Empire had come out. They wanted to see with their own eyes how their ancestor would kill Longao. Unbridled. Fair and square. Longao's crazy attack on the number 1 Starry Sky Empire showed that he did not put the number 1 Starry Sky Empire in his eyes. The uncle could tolerate it, but the aunt could not. The secret cave could tolerate it, but the chrysanthemum could not. However, even if the people of the number 1 Starry Sky Empire were unhappy and unwilling, since their ancestor had spoken, they could only be obedient and sulk. No one dared to stand up and say half a word. White Crystal, the number 1 Starry Sky Empire, the absolute supreme existence. My 2 conditions are very simple. In order to show your absolute sincerity, you only need to kill any one of the other 8 half-step space dominators and take their secret realms. Longao's first condition was something that was impossible to achieve. What a joke. It was impossible for Bai Jing to kill any half-step space dominator. Bai Jing's face darkened instantly. Her face was as ugly as it could get. As for the others around, including the people from the number 1 Starry Sky Empire, they all looked at Longao in shock. Because no one thought that Longao's first condition would be like this. It was simply too much. Suppressing the anger and killing intent in his heart, Bai Jing gritted his teeth and said coldly, "Continue." Bai Jing knew very well that Longao's current fearlessness was nothing more than the 2 space dominators behind him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have to act like this with just one Longao. Even if he was a half-step space dominator, in front of a real space dominator, he was just a little stronger than an ant. Even if he had a secret realm to protect his body, even a space dominator would find it difficult to destroy his primordial spirit. However, one should not forget that a space dominator could seal and suppress him or directly send him into samsara. No matter what the result was, it was not something he wanted to see. Endure. Even if his heart was filled with anger, he could only endure it under such circumstances. Until now, Bai Jing still couldn't figure out why Longao had two space dominators by his side. In the current situation, not to mention himself and the other 8 half-step space dominators, even a space dominator wouldn't want to provoke Longao. The anger of 2 space dominators wasn't something to be trifled with. Longao sneered in his heart. How could he not know about Bai Jing's concerns? It seemed that Xiling and Long Chong's deterrence was still very strong. Even with such harsh conditions, Bai Jing didn't explode. In that case, don't blame him for being impolite. After thinking for a while, Longao suddenly said, "The second condition is that from now on, you, Bai Jing, are no longer a member of the number 1 Starry Sky Empire, and the number 1 Starry Sky Empire will be swallowed by my Soaring Dragon Empire." The first condition was to kill any one of the 8 half-step space dominators and seize their secret realm. The second condition was for Bai Jing to leave the number 1 Starry Sky Empire. Not only that, but the Soaring Dragon Empire would also swallow the number 1 Starry Sky Empire. These 2 conditions, no matter which one it was, were excessive, not to mention both of them. Everyone around sucked in a breath of cold air. They didn't know what gave Longao the right to be so arrogant, daring to act so wildly in front of a half-step space dominator. The most shocking thing was that although Bai Jing was angry, he still didn't show any anger. There must be something fishy. Did Longao get hold of Bai Jing's weakness? Otherwise, how could Bai Jing act like this? He didn't seem like a half-step space dominator at all. The status and strength of the 2 should be swapped. What's going on? There seems to be something fishy. It seems that Longao is no longer the same as before. Even Lord Bai Jing doesn't dare to act casually. I'm just curious as to why Lord Bai Jing doesn't dare to act casually. Even if Longao's talent is extraordinary, his strength is still a distance away from Lord Bai Jing. If that's the case, Lord Bai Jing shouldn't be afraid of Longao's strength. If that's the case, then why? All kinds of discussions came from all around, because no one could figure out why Bai Jing would be so afraid of Longao. Even if Longao put forward such excessive conditions, Bai Jing still endured it and didn't act. It was a bit strange. Everyone in the number 1 Starry Sky Empire had a gloomy face when they heard Longao's 2 conditions. Chapter 2706. Anger. Endless anger. Every single cultivator from the number 1 Starry Sky Empire had an endless amount of anger and killing intent reflected in their eyes. If looks could kill, Longao would have died countless times over. He chose to ignore it. Longao only smiled as he looked at Bai Jing in front of him. In his opinion, no matter which of the 2 conditions he put forward, it was almost impossible to fulfill, not to mention the other party was Bai Jing. Longao did not rush her. Bai Jing did not agree or disagree. Her face was expressionless as well. Both of them did not speak. Everyone around them did not speak either. The entire first plane was exceptionally quiet. Tick-tock, 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 time passed by bit by bit. About 10 minutes later, Bai Jing's gaze changed as she said helplessly, "Longao, no matter how we fight to the death, I've already given in. Why are you still forcing me?" Without waiting for Longao to reply, Bai Jing continued, "I was in the wrong earlier on. I'll apologize to you right now. From today onwards, I, Bai Jing, will not deal with you anymore. How about that?" Hearing Bai Jing's words, everyone around was shocked once more. Bai Jing's words had undoubtedly expressed her attitude. She had chosen to compromise. No one could understand why Bai Jing would suddenly turn into a different person. To think that she would be so wary of Longao. What was the reason? No one could figure it out. No one could figure out what was going on. As for the people from the number 1 Starry Sky Empire, they felt a deep sense of humiliation. They could not figure out why their old master would do such a thing. The other party had already come knocking on their door. Why should they tolerate it? Even if the other party was a half-step Starry Sky ruler like their old master, let alone a peak Starry Sky immortal being, they believed that their old master would not choose to compromise like this. Just ask. Would the other 8 half-step Starry Sky rulers of the other 8 Starry Sky empires dare to be so arrogant? Bai Jing, I know what you're thinking. If I didn't have them by my side, would you still do this? They. Who were they? The people around did not think much of it. Of course, they could tell that something was up from Longao's words. For Bai Jing to be so wary of someone who could tolerate it time and time again, it was obvious what sort of existence they were. But you have to know. Bai Jing was now a genuine half-step Starry Sky ruler. If she was so wary of the other party, there was no doubt that the people Longao was referring to were Starry Sky rulers that were above half-step Starry Sky rulers. Was that really the case? No wonder Bai Jing was so afraid. If that was the case, no matter who it was, they would definitely not want to continue provoking Longao. What a joke! A Starry Sky ruler was an invincible existence in the vast Starry Sky. Even a half-step Starry Sky ruler wouldn't dare provoke a Starry Sky ruler, let alone ordinary Starry Sky cultivators. At this moment, everyone finally understood why Bai Jing had endured so much. Even though she knew Longao was provoking her, Bai Jing still suppressed her anger. She wasn't afraid of Longao. She was afraid of Galaxy Ruler behind Longao. Shocked. They were extremely shocked. No one could figure out how Longao had managed to get Galaxy Ruler to help him. The people of the first Starry Sky Empire, who were originally furious, were all shocked when they guessed the truth of the matter. They finally understood their ancestors' difficulties. Bai Jing, the 9 of you joined forces to force me. I'm just returning the favor. He sneered in his heart. Longao didn't have the slightest soft-hearted, because he understood that being merciful to the enemy was the greatest cruelty to oneself. He didn't care. Anyway, he had the protection of the Chaos Palace and an immortal 9-colored primordial spirit. Not to mention a half-step Starry Sky ruler, even a Starry Sky ruler wouldn't be able to destroy him. He wasn't afraid, but it didn't mean that everyone in the Empire was. Although many people in the Empire had devoured the Chaos Tablet, so far, no one had been able to successfully refine the Chaos Tablet and become a Starry Sky ruler. In this case, if he didn't kill them all, they would definitely bring endless trouble to the Empire in the future. It was still the same sentence. The Empire was Longao's bottom line. No matter when, nothing must happen to the Soaring Dragon Empire. Nothing must happen to everyone in the Soaring Dragon Empire. Otherwise, he wouldn't even have the chance to regret it. In order to prevent this kind of accident from happening, Longao had decided to fight Bai Jing to the death. Longao, what do you want? Bai Jing's voice instantly turned cold. He had already made such a concession, but Longao was still pressing on. There were onlookers everywhere. He could even throw away his face, but Longao still wouldn't let go. If it weren't for his fear of the sword will Starry Sky Ruler and the 5 elements Starry Sky Ruler, how could he be so afraid of Longao alone? Give him an inch and he wants a mile. Fight to the death. Longao didn't want to continue talking nonsense with Bai Jing, because he knew that no matter what, the enmity between him and Bai Jing couldn't be written off. It was either you die or I die. Unless it was a last resort, Bai Jing certainly didn't want to continue being enemies with Longao. The 2 Starry Sky rulers behind Longao weren't people he could compete with. Even if the 9 of them joined forces, they wouldn't be a match for either one of them. If he continued to be enemies with Longao, who knew what the 2 starry sky rulers would do? Longao, let the 2 of them do it. I won't resist. How could Longao not know what Bai Jing was thinking? He sneered and said, Bai Jing, although Xiling and Long Chang are in charge of the Soaring Dragon Empire, they have a prior agreement that they won't interfere in the matters of the vast starry sky. You and I will settle our enmity on our own. The 2 of them won't do anything. However, if you dare to attack the Empire. At this point, Longao didn't continue, but the meaning in his words was very clear. As long as one wasn't a fool, one could understand. Bai Jing was delighted. He was most afraid of the Sword Will Starry Sky Ruler and the 5 Elements Starry Sky Ruler, not Longao. Even if Longao had extraordinary talent, he was only a peak Starry Sky Immortal. Bai Jing was very clear about the gap between a peak Starry Sky Immortal and a half-step Starry Sky Ruler. Even if he couldn't really kill Longao, Longao wouldn't be able to defeat him. And this was just Longao. If it were any other peak Starry Sky Immortal, not to mention 9 half-step Starry Sky Rulers joining forces, he believed that any one of them could easily kill a peak Starry Sky Immortal. Chapter 2707. Are you serious? I'm not as shameless as you. Bai Jing was very angry, but he didn't care much. Anyway, he had lost all his face because of Longao. Go, as long as you don't provoke me in the future, I won't be your enemy anymore. At this moment, Bai Jing seemed to have aged a lot all of a sudden. He gradually realized that he had been wrong from the very beginning to make Longao his enemy, and it was a very wrong mistake. It was because he was enemies with Longao that he not only lost his face, but also sacrificed all his limit Starry Sky Immortal. He regretted it very much. But it was too late to regret now. Thinking of this, Bai Jing had decided that he would never be enemies with Longao in the future, unless Longao continued to force him. Even if Longao had just said that the 2 Starry Sky Rulers would not intervene, what if he really killed Longao or attacked Soaring Dragon Empire? Would the 2 Starry Sky Rulers really not intervene? The answer was definitely no. Bai Jing was not a fool. Since he was in charge of Soaring Dragon Empire, it was obvious that the 2 Starry Sky Rulers had a very good relationship with Longao. In this case, even if he continued to be enemies with Longao, was there any meaning to it? Since there was no meaning, why would he make himself unhappy? Everyone around did not have the slightest contempt. Not to mention Longao's talent and cultivation speed, just the Starry Sky Ruler behind Longao, they believed that no matter who it was, they would make the same choice. There was no other way. Regarding Bai Jing's meaning, how could Longao not know? Continue? Or choose to give up? Longao was almost certain that after this incident, he believed that Bai Jing would not continue to deal with him. Even without him, as long as Xiling and Long Chang did not die, the deterrence would always be effective. If his cultivation could improve further, he would be able to kill Bai Jing easily. If it was just now, things would be a little troublesome. Although Longao was full of confidence, it was still unknown whether he could kill Bai Jing. Even if he could kill Bai Jing in the end, he would have to pay a huge price. Mystic Realms and Primal Chaos Stone Tablets. Others might not know what was going on, but how could Longao not know? This was a secret that not even a half-step Starry Sky Ruler knew about. Actually, Longao didn't know either. It was Xiling who told him. Secret Realms and Primal Chaos Stone Tablets could allow a cultivator to become a half-step Cosmic Ruler or Cosmic Ruler. However, there was a shocking secret between the two. If this secret was known by a half-step Starry Sky Ruler, they would regret it so much that they would want to die. It turned out that a person who had devoured and refined a mystic realm would no longer be able to refine a Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Even devouring a primal chaos stone tablet wouldn't work. This was also the real reason why Longao did not devour the mystic realms himself. Not only him, but even his son, Long Yun, couldn't devour secret realms. Otherwise, why didn't Longao devour one of the 9 secret realms and become a half-step starry sky ruler first? If he couldn't become a half-step starry sky ruler, he could only directly refine a non-elemental primal chaos tablet and become a starry sky ruler. What should he do? If it had been any other cultivator, it would have been fine. However, Bai Jing was undoubtedly the strongest among the 9 half-step starry sky rulers. Everyone stared at Longao because no one knew what choice Longao would make. If it had been anyone else, seeing Bai Jing compromise, they would have definitely given up. Only Longao, this lunatic who was not afraid of anything. Time slowly passed. Bai Jing, the grudge between us can't be written off just like that. I will let you go for now. However, in the future, I will definitely get back at you for trying to kill me. Goodbye. I won't see you out. Longao left. From the beginning to the end, no one dared to stop him. Even Bai Jing chose to compromise. Unless there was water in their brains or someone who didn't fear death, no one would dare to stop Longao. Looking at the gradually disappearing figure, Bai Jing's expression changed again. A cold snort. Bai Jing's cold snort scared everyone away. Before long, only the people of the First Starry Sky Empire and Bai Jing were left in the first plane. This battle, Longao had already won imperceptibly. The First Starry Sky Empire. In a huge palace, only Bai Jing sat alone. The entire hall was terrifyingly quiet. At this moment, Bai Jing was a little disheartened. Ever since he devoured secret realms and became a half-step starry sky ruler, such a thing had never happened before. If the perpetrator of this matter was a starry sky ruler, even a half-step starry sky ruler, he would admit defeat. But the result? Not only was the other party not a starry sky ruler or a half-step starry sky ruler, but he was only a peak starry sky immortal. Not only that, but Longao's strength was unbelievably low. He had witnessed Longao's every step and countless death. Not only had Longao not fallen, but he had also reached his current level with 2 starry sky rulers by his side. Even if the 9 of us joined forces, if Longao didn't hide in his divine item, we probably wouldn't be able to kill him. Only a starry sky ruler would be able to do it. Bai Jing didn't know that even a starry sky ruler might not be able to kill Longao. What had happened on the Martial Heaven continent hadn't spread. Otherwise, Bai Jing wouldn't even have the slightest bit of resistance left. What had happened in the First Starry Sky Empire had spread throughout the entire empire. Anyone who heard the news was shocked. The enmity between Longao and the First Starry Sky Empire was no secret. Everyone knew about it. Many people had thought that the enmity between the two sides would end with Longao's defeat. After all, the First Starry Sky Empire had a half-step Starry Sky ruler. Even if Longao had killed a peak Starry Sky immortal, he still wouldn't be able to contend against the First Starry Sky Empire. However, the result was far beyond everyone's expectations. Not only had Longao won, but he had also suppressed the First Starry Sky Empire. Many people had seen with their own eyes that even a half-step Starry Sky ruler like Bai Jing had been forced to compromise when facing a peak Starry Sky immortal like Longao. And that was just a small matter. What truly shocked the universe were the rumors that followed. Longao had 2 Starry Sky rulers behind him. It was because of them that Bai Jing had no choice but to compromise. Otherwise, the enmity between Bai Jing and Longao wouldn't have been resolved so easily. How had Longao managed to do it? Chapter 2708. What happened in the number 1 Cosmic Sky Empire shook the entire universe, especially the Soaring Dragon Empire, which had 2 Cosmic Sky rulers, was even more shocked. In the vast universe, there were countless cosmic sky empires. 9 cosmic sky empires, peak human race. Each of the 9 great starry sky empires had a half-step starry sky ruler overseeing them. This was a well-known fact. The 9 half-step cosmic sky rulers were Bai Jing, Zhu Geming, Gongsun He, Xiaofeng, Zhou Bolai, Lu Mu, Kong Xiao, Fang Buping, and Wei Bujing. Without a doubt, among the 9, Bai Jing was the strongest. But now, even Bai Jing, who was the strongest, chose to compromise. Of course, the other 8 would not have it easy. If it was just Longao alone, none of the 9 would be afraid of Longao. Again, even if Longao's talent was extraordinary and his cultivation speed was fast, he was still a peak cosmic sky immortal. As long as Longao did not become a half-step cosmic sky ruler, there was nothing to worry about. As for becoming a half-step cosmic sky ruler, it was easier said than done. To become a half-step cosmic sky ruler, the first thing one had to do was to obtain a secret realm, then devour and refine it. It was not easy to obtain a secret realm. In fact, no one knew. If Longao wanted to devour a secret realm, there would be plenty of opportunities. But because of the secret realm and the Chaos Stone Tablet, Longao could only choose to give up on devouring the secret realm. He could directly refine the neutral Chaos Stone Tablet and become a cosmic sky ruler. The other 8 were very afraid of the 2 cosmic sky rulers behind Longao. Although Longao had told Bai Jing before that this was a grudge between them and the 2 cosmic sky rulers would not casually intervene, if something happened to Longao, would the 2 cosmic sky rulers not intervene? Only ghosts would believe that. The 8 were not afraid of Longao, but they were very afraid of the 2 cosmic sky rulers. Whether it was the Sword Intent Cosmic Sky Ruler or the 5 Elements Cosmic Sky Ruler, if they wanted to seal them or send them into reincarnation, it would be a matter of minutes. What should they do? The 8 were most worried that Longao would invite the 2 Cosmic Sky Rulers to deal with them. There was simply no chance of victory. Could it be that he had to flee far away and live a life of seclusion? It would be a lie to say that he didn't regret it. There was no need for the 8 of them to make an unnecessary move. Why did they have to be enemies with Longao? If he was an enemy, then so be it. Previously, he had not gone all out to kill Longao, giving Longao a chance to grow. Now that he wanted to kill him, he realized that it was impossible. Not to mention the 2 star dominators behind Longao, just Longao's strength and the cosmic space artifact in his hand was something they couldn't do. Dream on. It was almost impossible. The 9 of them felt a headache coming on. They did not know what Longao was going to do next. They had thought that after Longao attacked the first Starry Sky Empire, he would continue to attack the other Starry Sky Empires. In any case, everyone knew about the grudge between the Longao and the 9 Starry Sky Empires. But what was the result? However, things did not happen as expected. After Longao attacked the first Starry Sky Empire, he seemed to have completely disappeared. No one knew his whereabouts at all. What was going on? Just as everyone was guessing. As everyone had guessed, after Longao finished dealing with the first Starry Sky Empire, he was going to continue to deal with the second Starry Sky Empire, the third Starry Sky Empire, and so on. However, at this moment, Longao did not know what was going on. He had a bad feeling in his heart that he could not explain clearly. Did something happen to the Empire? Not daring to hesitate, Longao did not care about continuing to deal with the 8 Starry Sky Empires. Instead, he turned around and returned to the Empire as quickly as possible. Nothing must happen to the Empire. At this moment, outside the Soaring Dragon Empire, the Divine Mathematician and the other 5 looked at the plane in front of them and laughed. The 4 of them had already left, but they did not expect that the Divine Mathematician would suddenly calculate the specific location of the Soaring Dragon Empire. Without the slightest hesitation, the Divine Mathematician immediately invited the other 4 star dominators to deal with the Soaring Dragon Empire together. The four of them, who had lost all hope, suddenly heard that the divine mathematician had pinpointed the specific location of the soaring dragon empire. They were all excited because everyone knew very well what the soaring dragon empire meant to Longao. Because of this, without the slightest hesitation, the four-star dominators immediately rushed to meet up with the divine mathematician. Divine mathematician, how did you do it? The four of them were very curious because the divine mathematician had been calculating for hundreds of years before, but he had never been able to calculate the specific location of the soaring dragon empire. Why did he calculate it this time? Was there something fishy? Because of the previous incident, the four of them were wary of the divine mathematician. They were afraid that the divine mathematician would do it again. They were lucky enough to avoid a disaster before, but it did not mean that they would be lucky every time. However, in this world, there were no eternal enemies, and similarly, there were no eternal friends. Although the four of them were very angry with the divine mathematician's previous actions, in order to deal with a common enemy, they chose to cooperate in the end. I also don't know. Previously, no matter how I calculated the location of the soaring dragon empire, I could not calculate it. However, this time I was just trying my luck. Because of the previous incident, I had already planned to give up. But I never thought that it would be a fluke that would allow me to pinpoint the location of the soaring dragon empire. The four of them did not know whether the divine mathematician was telling the truth or not, but they had already decided to take control of the soaring dragon empire. After subduing Longao, they would divide the loot equally. As for Master God Diviner, they couldn't completely trust him. After all, who knew what he was thinking? If Master God Diviner could screw them over once, then he could screw them over a second time, a third time, or even more times. That was especially true of Master God Diviner's ability to calculate and calculate. How could the divine mathematician and the divine mathematician not know what the four of them were thinking? The two of them sneered in their hearts. However, in order to deal with Longao, even if the two of them were unhappy, they could only temporarily endure it. Everything could wait until they dealt with Longao. Gentlemen, since we have already pinpointed the location of the soaring dragon empire, why don't the six of us work together to break the seal? Of course, the six of them could see that the plane in front of them was sealed by the Starry Sky Ruler. If there was no accident, the one who sealed the plane must be the Starry Sky Ruler, Jianling, who supported Longao, and the Starry Sky Ruler of the five elements Starry Sky, Chaotic Dapeng. As for the divine mathematician, he was pleasantly surprised because he had sensed something. Chapter 2709. The Chaos Rock. The marvelous mathematician could clearly sense the Chaos Rock's aura on the plane's seal in front of him. He had searched high and low for it, only to find it without any effort. If he could successfully kill Longao this time, not only would he obtain all the treasures on Longao, but he would also be able to regain control of the Chaos Rock. He would probably be able to master the power of chaos. He was excited just thinking about it. Of course, the other four wouldn't have the slightest problem. Anyway, things had already come to this. If they didn't take the opportunity to destroy Longao, with Longao's talent, who knew when Longao would grow? The six Starry Sky Rulers stared at the plane in front of them. They had full confidence that even if it was a seal set by two Starry Sky Rulers, they could still easily break the seal. The power of the two Starry Sky Rulers was limited. Begin. Just as the six were about to start attacking the soaring dragon plane, suddenly the situation changed. Two figures appeared in the blink of an eye. They were none other than Xiling and Longchong, the so-called Sword Will Starry Sky Ruler and Five Elements Starry Sky Ruler. Longao wasn't here. Now, the soaring dragon empire was guarded by the two of them. As for the previous 12 Chaos Tablets, no one knew about it. If the marvelous mathematician knew, he wouldn't be so calm. You two, you finally showed up. Looking at the 6 people in front of them, Xiling and Long Chong's faces were very ugly. Although they had guessed that this day would come, they were still a little afraid when it really happened. The 6 people in front of them were genuine half-step starry sky rulers. 2 against 6, they didn't have the slightest confidence to resist the power of the 6 people. As for the 6 people's intentions, there was no need to ask. They wanted to control the soaring dragon empire, Longao's family, and then completely control Longao. What a shameless 6 people. Under normal circumstances, since the 6 of them were starry sky rulers, they would never touch such a shameless thing. After all, they were starry sky rulers. But what about the 6 people? As starry sky rulers, the 6 of them didn't care about face. If the 6 of you want to enter the soaring dragon empire, you'll have to kill the 2 of us first. It was almost impossible to kill the starry sky ruler. However, the 6 people from the soaring dragon empire were determined to win. They could not retreat so easily. Yi Dugu snorted coldly and said with a sneer, "The winner is the king, and the loser is the bandit. Since we have already locked onto the position of the soaring dragon empire, then it is our victory. The 2 of you clearly know that the result cannot be changed, so why are you trying to stop us?" Anger. When Xiling and Long Chong heard Yi Dugu's words, how could they not be angry? However, the 2 of them did not flare up. Now was not the time to confront the 6 of them head-on. The most important task was to protect the soaring dragon empire. If something were to happen to the empire, they really didn't know how to explain it to Longao when he returned. Explanation? The ruler of the starry skies orders? If other people knew about this, they would probably be shocked speechless. The starry sky ruler was the strongest person in the vast starry sky. Even if he did something wrong, he did not have to explain it to anyone. Seeing that the 2 of them did not speak, Yi Dugu sneered and said, "The 2 of you, please step aside. The 6 of us can guarantee that as long as the marvelous mathematician obediently surrenders, we will never hurt anyone from the soaring dragon empire." This was the real purpose of the 6 of them. If it was a normal time, with the 6 of them, how could they lower themselves to deal with a small empire? It was simply impossible. But now, the situation was completely different. The 6 of them were very afraid of Longao. Not only were they afraid, but they were even a little afraid. Yes, the so-called fear. Logically speaking, the 6 of them, as starry sky rulers, should not be afraid of Longao, who had just broken through the limit of starry sky immortal realm. However, Longao was too unpredictable. In order to eliminate the root of the problem as soon as possible, the 6 of them did not care about their reputation and even joined forces to deal with the soaring dragon empire. As long as they could smoothly kill Longao in the soaring dragon empire, then with the identity and strength of the 6 of them, at that time, no one in the vast starry sky would dare to gossip. On this point, the 6 of them were still very confident. As for the life and death of the soaring dragon empire, the 6 of them did not care at all. It was still the same sentence. Their real purpose was only Longao. As long as they could kill Longao, they would not care about the life and death of the soaring dragon empire, because there would be no second Longao in the soaring dragon empire. This was without a doubt. "Sister Xiling, what should we do now?" Long Chong was very angry, but more than that, he was worried. Now that his brother was not here, nothing must happen to the empire, even if he had to pay with his life. However, as long as he looked at the 6 people in front of him, Long Chong felt a deep sense of helplessness in his heart. These were 6 genuine half-step starry sky rulers, not the so-called cabbages. Violet's spirit was also very worried. She said with her spiritual sense, "The current situation is very dangerous. I've already informed Long Tu and Miao Ling to evacuate everyone as quickly as possible. Anyone who can escape is one person. Sister Xiling, now that the Bitwall entrance has been sealed, how can they leave?" Long Chong could not figure out what Xiling meant. After all, now that the 6 starry sky rulers were guarding here, it was almost impossible for the people in the empire to evacuate everyone. The 6 starry sky rulers were not blind. How could Xiling not know what Long Chong was thinking? She continued to speak through her spiritual sense. Long Chong, before Long Ao left, he was worried that something like this would happen, so he specially opened a huge cave residence in the Bitwall. If something like this really happens, then everyone can be transferred into the cave residence. So that was it. Even so, Long Chong was still very worried, because the 6 starry sky rulers were not to be trifled with. Even if everyone was transferred into the cave residence, they still did not leave the Bitwall. In this case, it was really uncertain whether they could enter the cave residence. When Long Ao left, he did leave behind a cave residence. As for whether this cave residence could withstand the 6 starry sky rulers' attacks, let alone Long Chong, even Xiling was not completely sure. If they were unlucky, even if they could evacuate everyone, they would be locked onto by the 6 starry sky rulers. Then things would be really troublesome. The 6 of you are still the starry sky rulers. Do you think it is appropriate for you to do this? Of course it was not appropriate. The 6 of them knew what Xiling was talking about. They were still the starry sky rulers, but things had already come to this, and there was no turning back. Chapter 27:10. Long Ao had to be killed. He had to control the people of the Soaring Dragon Empire. No matter who came, this was an irreversible situation. The anger in Long Chong's heart turned into billowing murderous aura, fiercely suppressing the 6 people in front of him. Long Chong, you want to fight? The 6 people released a powerful aura at the same time, suppressing him. 1 against 6. In the blink of an eye, Long Chong could not resist and was completely defeated. At this time, the 6 of them laughed. Long Chong wanted to take on the combined strength of the 6 of them by himself? They didn't know if there was water in his head or not. Long Chong's face was very gloomy. The 6 of you are starry sky dominators, but you are so shameless. I feel ashamed for you. He directly ignored them. Anyway, things had already come to this. They had to kill Long Ao and eliminate all future troubles. 4 of you, I think we should stop wasting time. What do you think? Long Mia and the other 3 did not have the slightest problem. Anyway, they came this time to kill Long Ao. It made no difference whether they acted earlier or later. The 6 people were finally going to fight. Although they already knew this would be the result, Xiling and Long Chong were still worried. The 2 of them knew very well that they could not stop the 6 people from entering the Soaring Dragon realm with just the 2 of them working together. Long Chong, step aside. Sister Xiling. Hearing Xiling ask him to step aside, Long Chong was completely shocked. He really could not understand why Sister Xiling would ask him to step aside. Was he going to let the 6 of them enter the Soaring Dragon Empire? Long Chong knew very well what it meant for the 6 of them to enter the Soaring Dragon Empire. For his big brother, he would not take a step back. However, after hearing Xiling's explanation, Long Chong completely calmed down. A little impatience spoils great plans. Seeing that Xiling and Long Chong didn't even try to stop them, the 6 of them were very curious. They didn't know what was going on between the 2 of them. Under normal circumstances, in order to protect the Soaring Dragon Empire, the 2 of them should have risked their lives to fight the 6 of them. But what was the result now? The more the 2 of them acted like this, the more the 6 of them didn't dare to act rashly. Could it be that there was something fishy in the Soaring Dragon realm? Xiling, Long Chong, what is the meaning of this? Long Mia's voice was extremely solemn. This sudden change caused the people he had left behind to be at a loss. For a moment they did not know what to do. Didn't you want to control the Soaring Dragon Empire? Sister Xiling and I will make way for you. Please. Xiling smiled and said, with our strength, we are no match for you. Even if we fight with our lives on the line, we won't be able to change the outcome. So why should we do this? Without waiting for the 6 of them to speak, Xiling continued, I hope you will keep your word. As long as you deal with Longao, you will let the rest of the Soaring Dragon Empire go. Grass. The 6 of them cursed in their hearts. Xiling and Long Chong were playing a mysterious game. However, this trick was really effective. It really did shock the 6 of them. Playing a trick? The 6 of them didn't dare to casually step into the Soaring Dragon Empire. Not only did the other party have 2 star dominators, but they also had Longao, a variable that even they couldn't control. If they casually stepped into the Soaring Dragon Empire and walked into the trap set by Longao and the others, they wouldn't even have the chance to regret it. It would be a lie to say that they weren't afraid. What should they do? Enter? Or not? Things had already turned out this way. If they chose to retreat, then not only would they not be able to kill Longao, they would also be ridiculed by Xiling and Long Chong. Fleeing in the face of danger was countless times more shameless than being shameless. If they entered, then once they fell into a dangerous situation, the gains would not make up for the losses. The 6 of them stared at the plain in front of them. Xiling and Long Chong were standing on the side, obviously not intending to stop them. The 6 of them looked gloomier and gloomier. All of a sudden, the clairvoyant master laughed crazily. His laughter made the other 5 people very curious. They didn't know what was wrong with the clairvoyant master at a time like this. Xiling, Long Chong, you don't have to play a trick on us. Do you think we'll fall for it? Xiling and Long Chong's hearts skipped a beat. Both of them were very shocked. Did the clairvoyant master see through the clues? No matter how shocked they were, Xiling and Long Chong didn't show any expression on their faces. Xiling said coldly, Clairvoyant master, are you out of your mind? We tried to stop you guys just now, but you guys wanted to kill us. Now that we're stepping aside, we hope that you guys won't start a massacre. But you don't dare to step in. Geez. With that, Xiling did not continue. However, the look of disdain and mockery in his eyes was unmistakable. Seeing how calm Xiling and Long Chong were, the clairvoyant master didn't have a single shred of confidence left in him. Actually, the clairvoyant master had been trying his best to calculate whether or not there was any danger within the Soaring Dragon Empire. But no matter how hard he tried, he still couldn't get anything out of it. Since that's the case, we won't stand on ceremony then. The clairvoyant master and the other 5 were still unwilling to give up on this opportunity. Furthermore, the 6 of them had full confidence that even if Long Chong were to lay a trap for them within the Soaring Dragon Empire, they would be able to escape unscathed. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The 6 of them sped off. Before long, all 6 of them had entered the Soaring Dragon Empire and disappeared without a trace. Big Sister Xiling, you've spoiled the big plan. But whether or not Big Brother's cave abode can withstand the lockdown of the 6 of them is still an unknown. If it's really locked down by them, then we'll be in big trouble. How could Xiling not know about Long Chong's worries? How could she not know about the dangers involved? But still, she said helplessly, Long Chong, you have to know one thing. Even if the 2 of us were to force our way in, we wouldn't be able to stop the 6 of them. If that's the case, once we're defeated, the 6 of them will be even more brazen when they step into the world. Big Sister Xiling, but, waving her hands, Xiling said helplessly, follow me in. No matter what, we can't let anything happen to the people here. Of course, Xiling and Long Chong didn't run away. Instead, they chose to follow the 6 of them into the Soaring Dragon realm. Both of them had been entrusted by Long Chong. If anything were to happen to the people of the Empire, they wouldn't be able to answer to Long Chong. Right now, the Soaring Dragon Empire was empty. Long Chong had long guessed that this day would come. Therefore, the moment the Soaring Dragon Empire entered this world, the first thing he did was to expel everyone who was originally in this world. Not a single one was left alive. In other words, from the moment the Soaring Dragon Empire entered the Soaring Dragon Realm, the entire Soaring Dragon Realm was left with only the people of the Soaring Dragon Empire. There was no one else. The result told everyone that Long Chang's decision back then was correct. Chapter 27:11. No one was there? The 6 of them were full of confidence. The oracle had just locked onto the Soaring Dragon Empire, and the 6 of them had already appeared in an instant. Even if Longao was prepared, it was absolutely impossible for him to be so fast. What was going on? Could it be that Longao already knew that the 6 of them were coming and deliberately did this? What should we do now? The oracle's face was also very gloomy. He never thought that things would come to this point. He thought that this would catch Longao off guard. He sighed deeply in his heart. Looking at the surrounding environment, the oracle said, "I can be sure that the people of the Soaring Dragon Empire are still in the plain, they are just hiding temporarily." Was that really the case? The 5 of them believed the oracle's words. If the people of the Soaring Dragon Empire had already left, then why would Xiling and Long Chang do this? In the end, the 2 of them did this because they felt guilty. Of course, the 6 of them would not destroy the Soaring Dragon Plane. It was still the same sentence. What they wanted was to control the people of the Soaring Dragon Empire, not kill them. The life and death of the people of the Soaring Dragon Empire was not worth mentioning to the 6 of them. They could control the people of the Soaring Dragon Empire and then use them to deal with Longao. At that time, as long as Longao still cared about the lives of these people, they would obediently be captured. There was no doubt about this. The 6 of us will sense 6 directions. I don't believe that even we can't sense the existence of these people. The 5 of them nodded. Without the slightest hesitation, the 6 of them chose different directions and began to release their auras madly, beginning to cover the entire Soaring Dragon Plane. The Soaring Dragon Plane was only a low-level plane, but it could not be truly destroyed. This was the real reason why Longao chose this plane. In the vast starry sky there were countless planes. There were many mysterious planes among them that even the starry sky dominators could not destroy. As for the reason, no one knew. Could not sense? Under normal circumstances, for such a small low-level plane, not to mention 6 starry sky dominators at the same time, even a random starry sky dominator could easily deal with this matter. But the result? Nothing. Could it be that the people of the Soaring Dragon Empire were really not in this plane? Even Master God Diviner couldn't quite believe his own judgment. If Longao had already moved everyone to another location, then there was no need for Xiling and Long Chang to stay. They were not trying to stall for time. It seemed a little ridiculous. What was going on? The 6 of them did not look too good, each more gloomy than the other. Clairvoyant, what's going on? If this were any other time, how could Master God Diviner not be enraged? However, the current situation was very different. They absolutely could not have internal strife. Once they did, Longao would take advantage of the situation. He suppressed the anger in his heart. The godly mathematician stared coldly at the low-level plane in front of him. His intuition told him that the people of the Soaring Dragon Empire must have not left this plane. Regardless of whether others believed him or not, he would definitely choose to believe in himself. Seeing that Master God Diviner did not speak, the 4 became even angrier. Yi Dugu was Master God Diviner's son, so he could tolerate it. However, they were not. There was no need to be like Yi Dugu. Just as the 4 of them were about to say something, Master God Diviner, who had not spoken until now, suddenly said, "Humph, I don't believe that I can't sense your aura." Hearing Master God Diviner's words, the 5 of them were overjoyed. Could it be that Master God Diviner had already sensed the location of the people of the Soaring Dragon Empire? If so, then this trip was not in vain. If they could control the people of the Soaring Dragon Empire, and then control Longao. Not only could they kill Longao smoothly, but they could also obtain all the treasures on Longao's body. If it was an ordinary treasure, the 5 of them wouldn't put it in their eyes at all. However, the treasure on Longao's body was extraordinary. No matter which one it was, especially the shattered starry sky, the 5 of them were greedy to obtain it. Whether it was the shattering starry sky divine ability or the heaven-defying starry sky divine artifact, in the vast starry sky, no one else could have such treasures and divine abilities except for Longao. Master God Diviner, where are you? Although I can't pinpoint the real location of everyone for the time being, I can say with certainty that the people of the Soaring Dragon Empire have not left this plane. I can guarantee it with my integrity. Since Master God Diviner had already said so, what else could the others say? What should we do now? The 5 of them did not have the slightest idea. They did not know how Longao did it. He was actually able to hide the aura of so many people. Even they could not sense it. If it were anyone else, they would have chosen to give up long ago. In fact, this time, Xiling and Long Chong had taken the wrong step. If the 2 of them had chosen to leave temporarily, when the 6 of them arrived at the Soaring Dragon Realm and found no one's aura, there was no doubt that the 6 of them would have thought that Longao had moved everyone away. In that case, the 6 of them would have chosen to leave directly and continue to pinpoint the location of the Soaring Dragon Empire. The 2 of them did not expect that Longao had moved everyone's location. Even the 6 starry sky rulers could not sense their aura. However, it was too late for the 2 of them to regret now. Long Chong and Xiling did not act rashly because the 2 of them had hidden their aura. If the 6 starry sky rulers sensed that they had followed them, then there was no doubt that the 6 of them would have guessed that they had not left the Soaring Dragon Realm. Sister Xiling, do you think that the 6 of them can sense the location of the cave mansion? Even Xiling was not sure if they could sense the location of the cave mansion. However, according to the current situation, the 6 of them had not sensed the location of the cave mansion for the time being. It was a blessing in disguise. The next step would depend on luck. If they were lucky, the 6 of them would not be able to sense the location of the cave mansion. Then they would leave this place, temporarily resolving the crisis. If they were unlucky, then with the 6 of them joining forces, even the 2 of them would not be able to resist the crazy attacks of the 6 of them. No one could predict what would happen. Long Chong, I'm saying wait a moment, if the 6 of them really sense the cave abode, then I'll hold them back while you move everyone's position as fast as you can. Do you understand? No, Long Chong refused without even thinking about it. He knew very well what it meant to fight 6 starry sky rulers alone. It was a little too dangerous. How could he let Sister Xiling do such a thing? Chapter 27:12. Sister Xiling, I'll fend off the 6 of them later. You go and distract the others. Towards Long Chong's good intentions, how could Xiling not know? That was why she couldn't do that. She couldn't let anything happen to anyone related to Long Chong. Long Chong, am I your sister? Of course. Long Chong certainly knew the relationship between his brother and Xiling, and Bai Ling's sister. Long Chong regarded Xiling as his sister from the bottom of his heart. Otherwise, he wouldn't have risked his life alone. Long Chong, since you regard me as your sister, it's decided. Looking at Xiling's sister in front of him, Long Chong sighed deeply with a helpless expression. He knew very well that Xiling's sister's character was almost the same as his brother's. Once she decided on something, she wouldn't change her mind. In fact, Long Chong was more or less confident. Xiling's sister was the sword-intent starry sky ruler. Even if she couldn't defeat the 6 of them, it was impossible for the 6 of them to kill her. Xiling and Long Chong didn't dare to be careless. They stared at the 6 people in the distance. Once the 6 people sensed the location of the cave mansion, they would attack. If the 6 people couldn't sense the location of the cave mansion, there was no need for them to attack. Time passed slowly. About 4 hours later, the marvelous mathematician's face suddenly lit up. He said in surprise, "I sensed it." Hearing his words, the other 5 people were also surprised. They finally sensed it. "Marvelous mathematician, where is it?" The 5 people couldn't wait. After all, they came here to deal with Long Chong. The premise of dealing with Long Chong was to control the people of the Soaring Dragon Empire. Only then could they be foolproof. "Let's go." The speed of the 6 people was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, they had already locked onto the location of the cave. Xiling and Long Chong, who were still hesitating, suddenly saw that the 6 of them had locked onto the location of the cave residence. Both Xiling and Long Chong were completely shocked and worried. It was true that whatever he was afraid of would come true. "Sister Xiling, let's go." "Long Chong, remember what Big Sister said just now. I'll do my best to hold back the 6 of them, and you'll move everyone away. Move as many as you can." Without any hesitation, Long Chong and Xiling rushed to the cave residence as fast as they could. Soaring Dragon Realm. Longao was afraid that such a situation would happen. That was why he opened up a cave that could accommodate tens of thousands of people from the Soaring Dragon Empire, and most of them were driven away. He didn't want to be implicated. Inside the huge cave residence, Long Haosher and the others' expressions were quite unsightly because Zi Ling and Long Chong had suddenly left and told them that the godly mathematician had already locked onto the Soaring Dragon Empire's position. As for whether the cave residence they were in could resist the clairvoyant and the others, it was still unknown. If they were locked onto, they would be in big trouble. If someone in the Soaring Dragon Empire who had devoured the Chaos Stone Tablet could refine it and become a Starry Sky Dominator, then there might be a glimmer of hope if they joined forces with Xiling and Long Chong. But now, just thinking about it made them feel hopeless. After all, the clairvoyant and the others were Starry Sky Dominators, the strongest in the vast universe. Even Xiling and Long Chong couldn't resist the combined forces of 6 Starry Sky Dominators. "Father, what should we do now?" Long Haosher looked around the cave residence and sighed deeply. He said helplessly, "What else can we do now? We can only resign ourselves to fate. I just hope that Ao doesn't come back. As long as Ao is alive, he can avenge our Long family." Long Yi nodded. Of course he knew what his father meant. In the Soaring Dragon Empire, anything could happen to anyone but Ao. They're here. Although Long Haosher hadn't refined the Chaos Stone Tablet, his strength had reached a very high level. Moreover, the 6 didn't hide their aura at all. They arrived as soon as they spoke. The 6 half-step Starry Sky Dominators arrived in the blink of an eye. Long Ao wasn't here. The 6 of them knew that Long Ao wasn't here the moment they set foot in the Soaring Dragon Empire. Otherwise, with their understanding of Long Ao, as long as Long Ao was here, he would definitely appear. Why would he hide? It didn't matter whether Long Ao was here or not. Anyway, as long as they could control the people in the Soaring Dragon Empire, Long Ao would be easily captured. "Long Haosher, are you going to surrender or do you want us to attack?" Looking at the 6 Starry Sky Dominators in front of them, Long Haosher and the others would have been scared to death in the past. No matter what, the Starry Sky Dominators were the strongest in the vast universe. But now, the situation was completely different. With the passage of time and the fact that they had devoured the Chaos Stone Tablet, Long Haosher and the others didn't feel much when facing the legendary Starry Sky Dominators again. "We of the Soaring Dragon Empire would rather die than surrender. We'd rather die standing than live kneeling." Long Haosher only mentioned the Soaring Dragon Empire, not the Long family. After all, there were many people in the Soaring Dragon Empire who didn't have the surname Long. No matter the reason, as long as these people joined the Long family, they were on the same side. Even if they encountered 6 Starry Sky Dominators, these people still chose to stay. They'd rather die standing than live kneeling. Although the 6 of them didn't show anything on the surface, they sighed in their hearts. If it were anyone else, they would have been scared out of their wits. How could they still dare to do this? Originally, they didn't want to destroy the soaring dragon empire. But looking at the eyes of these people, the 6 of them secretly made up their minds. This time, besides killing Longao, they would also destroy these people, leaving no one alive. They would cut the weeds and eliminate the roots to prevent future troubles. If that's the case, then you... Before Xiling could finish speaking, there was a roar and Xiling's figure had already entered. But before Xiling could make a move, Long Chong took the initiative to fight against the 6 people. According to the previous plan, Xiling would hold back the 6 people while Long Chong would take everyone away. However, Xiling never expected that Long Chong would suddenly change his mind at the last moment. She was a little caught off guard, but things had already come to this. Even if she was angry, she didn't waste any time. Long Chong was fighting against 6 people alone. She didn't know how long he could delay them, so she had to evacuate everyone as soon as possible. Follow me. Xiling was not a fool. Of course, she knew who Longao cared about the most. Besides his grandfather and parents, it was his 4 confidants. As for the others, she could only sacrifice them. Chapter 27:13. Senior Xiling, take the others and leave first. Long Haoshi held the highest position in the soaring dragon empire. If he left first, what would the others think? Xiling knew Long Haoshi well, and understood the current situation, but she had to ensure his safety first. Regardless of whether Long Haoshi was willing or not, Xiling had already made the first move. If Long Haoshi had refined the Chaos Tablet and become a ruler of the stars, then even Xiling wouldn't have been able to force his way in. But now? Long Haoshi's strength had increased greatly, but he still hadn't refined the Chaos Tablet and become a ruler of the stars. Senior Xiling. Long Haoshi was about to say something, but found himself unable to speak. He panicked. It wasn't just Long Haoshi. Long Yi and his wife, Yu Yin, and the others were all targeted by Xiling, ready to be taken away. You want to leave? The clairvoyant master and the others had already guessed that Xiling and Long Chong would do this. Otherwise, why would they stay instead of leaving? Long Mie and the others surrounded Long Chong. As for the clairvoyant master and Yi Dugu, they separated to stop Xiling. Xiling, where do you think you're going? He felt helpless. Xiling had already guessed that this would be the result. With his or Long Chong's strength alone, there was no way they could defeat the 6 of them and stop them. Long Chong, come back. Long Chong, in the midst of fighting for his life, suddenly heard Xiling's words. Although he was curious and didn't know what was going on with Xiling's sister, he still sent out a palm strike and retreated. One look and he knew what was going on. Long Chong wanted to help, but he was powerless. No matter what, one person's strength was limited. Xiling, Long Chong, this is between us and Longao. It has nothing to do with you. If you're willing to leave, we'll... Before Dragon Slayer could finish, Xiling snorted coldly. Xiling didn't say anything. Long Chong said, the 6 of you better get out of here as soon as possible. Otherwise, I'll take 1 or 2 of you down with me, even if it costs me my life. Perish together? Master God Diviner and the others would be lying if they said they weren't afraid. Long Chong was no longer the Long Chong of the past. At this moment, Long Chong was the ruler of the 5 elemental starry sky. Long Chong also knew his own limit. It was almost impossible for him to fight 1 against 6. However, it was more than enough to drag 1 or 2 people down with him. The 6 people's faces were very gloomy, as ugly as they could be. He snorted coldly again. If you and I join forces, I wonder how many people we can take with us. At least 2. I just don't know who's unlucky. Xiling and Long Chong echoed each other. The more they talked, the colder their faces became because they knew very well that Xiling and Long Chong were deliberately saying this. What should they do? Should they just give up? It was absolutely impossible for them to not give up. It wasn't easy for them to locate the soaring dragon empire. For the 6 of them, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If they missed this opportunity, who knew how long it would take to locate the soaring dragon empire next time? Xiling, Long Chong, we can tell you clearly that this time, no matter what happens, we will destroy the soaring dragon empire and kill Longao. Even if all the other rulers of the starry sky were here, it would be impossible to protect Longao, let alone you. Master God Diviner and the others were very determined. Xiling and Long Chong weren't surprised at all. If the 6 people chose to give up so easily, they wouldn't have to go to war and waste so many years. Xiling and Long Chong were prepared. Even if they had to risk their lives and enter the samsara again, they would protect the people of the soaring dragon empire and drag 1 or 2 of the 6 people down with them. Both sides didn't speak. They looked at each other and didn't make a move for a while. You two try to buy as much time as possible. I have a way to seal the cave dwelling. Just as Violet Spirit and Long Chong were at a loss for what to do, a voice transmission from the primordial rock suddenly appeared in their minds. The 2 of them were very curious, as they did not know what the primordial rock wanted to do. If the chaotic rock had a way to seal the cave dwelling, why didn't it say so earlier? They weren't fools. In an instant, they had already guessed that the chaotic rock must have suffered a great loss to seal the cave dwelling. Otherwise, the chaotic rock wouldn't have said it at this time. Chaotic rock, what do you want to do? I want to burn 90% of my chaotic force to seal this cave dwelling. After you go out, tell Long Chong not to open the cave dwelling for the time being. As for my injuries, he doesn't have to worry. After this incident, I may fall into an eternal sleep. As for when I will wake up. At this point, the chaotic rock didn't continue, but the meaning of its words was very clear. Under normal circumstances, the 2 of them would definitely stop the chaotic rock from doing so. However, the situation now was completely different. In an emergency, it was a matter of life and death. Even the 2 of them didn't have the slightest solution. If the chaotic rock could seal the cave dwelling, it was indeed a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the soaring dragon empire. The chaotic rock burned 90% of its power. Falling into a deep sleep was no small matter. Whether it was Xiling or Long Chong, they knew very well that this time, Long Chong and everyone in the soaring dragon empire owed the chaotic rock a lot. Thank you. Give me enough time and don't let the 6 of them find out. Well, that would be difficult after all. Naturally, Violet Spirit knew what the Chaos Great Rock was trying to do. However, at this moment, the Chaos Great Rock was secretly burning up its own powers to seal up the cave abode. If there were any mistakes in the process, they would lose their final chance. The chaotic rock didn't appear but hid in the dark. Its face was also very ugly. It continued to communicate with its spiritual sense. Xiling, Long Chong, I have a foolproof way. However, if you do this, the 2 of you may lose some power and will also be sealed in the cave dwelling. As for when Long Chong can break the seal, even I don't know. The chaotic rock indeed didn't know. It was because it accidentally obtained the secret technique of burning its own power to seal the cave dwelling. If the other party wasn't the clairvoyant and Long Chong treated it well, it wouldn't do this even if it was beaten to death. After all, the consequences of doing so were a little too great. Even it couldn't bear the consequences. Xiling and Long Chong knew what the chaotic rock meant. The 2 of them didn't even think about it and agreed. Chapter 27:14. The 6 of them stared at Xiling and Long Chong in front of them. It would be a lie to say that they weren't afraid. Xiling and Long Chong were both starry sky dominators. Once they fought to the death, even if they couldn't resist the combined power of the 6 of them, it would be more than enough to drag 2 or 3 of them down with them. Among the 6 of them, no one was willing to sacrifice themselves. Especially after what happened last time, they cherished it even more. What should they do? Give up? Or continue? If they continued, Xiling and Long Chong would definitely fight to the death. At that time, it was hard to say who would die. If they chose to give up, they would be unwilling to come this far. Long Chong had the heaven-defying starry sky divine weapon. Even if the 6 of them joined forces, they wouldn't be able to kill Long Chong. The only way now was to control the people of the Soaring Dragon Empire and use them to kill Long Chong. This was also a foolproof way. But the result now? It was difficult. Even the marvelous mathematician didn't know what to do for a while. Xiling and Long Chong's deterrence wasn't just for show. The stalemate continued. Xiling and Long Chong couldn't wait for the 6 of them to not make a move. Because the chaotic rock also said that they should try to delay as much time as possible. In other words, the longer they delayed, the better it was for them. Time passed by bit. About 10 minutes later, the marvelous mathematician and the others finally couldn't take it anymore. If this continued, who knew what would happen? After hundreds of years, they finally found the location of the Soaring Dragon Empire. If they chose to give up so easily, then dealing with Long Chong was simply a pipe dream. As for Xiling and Long Chong, the 2 of them could help the Soaring Dragon Empire now and help Long Chong in the future. If this was the case, then they should choose to give up completely. Long Chong, Xiling, I'll ask you one last time. Do you want to continue? An ultimatum. The godly mathematician and the others had already decided that if Xiling and Long Chong insisted on continuing to protect the Soaring Dragon Empire, then the 6 of them would not wait any longer and would kill them without mercy. Even if he had to take the risk of entering the reincarnation realm, he had to control everyone in the Soaring Dragon Empire. Longao must die. In particular, the 6 of them were determined to obtain Longao's treasures and divine abilities. Thinking of this, the 6 of them each took a step forward. Their auras surged out and began to suppress the 2 of them. The attitude of the 6 people was very clear. Would Xiling and Long Chong choose to compromise? If the 2 of them chose to compromise, then they wouldn't be just the 2 of them. However, the situation now was obviously different. They only had one mission, and that was to stall for time as much as possible. The primal chaos great rock burning itself to seal the cave abode sounded simple, but it was definitely difficult to do it. Clairvoyant, if the 2 of us choose to step aside, will your previous agreement still be valid? What's going on? For a moment, the 6 of them seemed to be unable to react. When they finally reacted, their expressions changed. They didn't know what was going on with the 2 of them. Even Longao had died. As rulers of the starry sky, the 2 of them were fighting for the Soaring Dragon Empire's people. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would have found it hard to believe. If it had been before, the 6 of them would have definitely agreed. But now, the 6 of them were preparing to cut the weeds and eliminate the root. No one knew how much trouble these people would bring them. As the saying went, it was better to be safe than sorry. They absolutely couldn't allow a second variable to appear. Longao was too troublesome. At this moment, the clairvoyant was filled with regret. If he had killed Longao back in the Martial Heaven continent, this situation wouldn't have happened. He shook his head. The clairvoyant smiled and said, Xiling, Long Chong, seeing that you are on the same level as us, we won't make things difficult for you. As for Longao and the others, they will all die. No one will be able to stop us, including the 2 of you. Bulsh *T, waving her hand to stop the angry Long Chong, Xiling said through her spiritual sense, Long Chong, what are you doing? You clearly know that we are stalling for time. Why are you doing this? Hearing Xiling's sister's spiritual sense transmission, Long Chong was startled. He even felt some lingering fear. The primal chaos rock hadn't dealt with this matter yet. As rulers of the starry sky, the two of them naturally didn't fear the six of them. Even if they couldn't defeat them, they could just leave. However, the people behind them were different. If the six of them started a massacre, none of the people from the soaring dragon empire would be able to escape. Sister Xiling, I was wrong. Xiling felt helpless. Of course, she knew that Long Chong was only acting this way because he valued the soaring dragon empire too much. For Long Chong, whether it was Longao or the soaring dragon empire, they were all his family. Long Chong was different from these so-called rulers of the starry sky. The reason why Long Chong could devour the primal chaos stone and refine it to become a ruler of the starry sky was entirely because of Longao. Otherwise, how could Long Chong become the ruler of the five elements starry sky? It was simply impossible. There wasn't even the slightest possibility. Xiling, Long Chong, how do you choose? In fact, the six of them weren't very anxious. At this moment, the situation was completely under their control. Even if Longao came back, they wouldn't be worried at all. Not only were they not worried at all, but they were also looking forward to Longao's return. This way, they wouldn't have to come again. If they killed everyone in front of Longao, the consequences would be obvious. Longao would definitely die this time. The only thing they were worried about was the two rulers of the starry sky in front of them. It was a little too troublesome. Unless it was a last resort, the six of them were absolutely unwilling to fight to the death with Long Chong and Xiling. If the six of them said that they weren't afraid of dying and entering the cycle of reincarnation, they would be lying. The six of them were very nervous about the two's choice. They knew very well that if the two chose to continue, there would only be a life-and-death battle. If they chose to retreat, they could avoid this life-and-death battle. Of course, the six of them hoped that the two would choose to give up. If it were other rulers of the starry sky, they definitely wouldn't fight six rulers of the starry sky for a group of ants. Just when the two of them didn't know how to stall for time. At this moment, whether it was Xiling or Long Chong, the primal chaos rock's spiritual consciousness suddenly transmitted a message in their minds. The two of them were delighted because they had been stalling for time for this moment. As for the fact that they would be sealed in the cave, Xiling and Long Chong didn't care at all. As long as they could save the lives of the people of the soaring dragon empire, everything was worth it. Even the primal chaos rock was willing to burn its own sealed cave. How could they retreat? Chapter 27:15. Go all out? Hearing the rock's voice, the marvelous mathematician's heart skipped a beat. He had planned to take control of the rock silently, but now, with the appearance of the rock, the other four wouldn't let him have it alone. He had ruined the plan. Before the six of them could react, an unparalleled power suddenly erupted from the chaotic giant rock. Chaotic power? It's chaotic power. The rock is burning its own power to seal the cave. The six were all dominators of the starry sky. Of course, they knew what the rock was going to do. Their faces changed. Stop it. The six of them were completely shocked because they never thought that the primal chaos rock would actually use such a move. Burning its own power could lead to eternal death. At worst, it would enter the cycle of reincarnation. Ordinary people wouldn't do such a thing at all. Was the rock's brain damaged? But in any case, they had finally located the soaring dragon empire. The people in front of them could help them kill Longao. They couldn't waste this opportunity. Just as the six were about to stop the rock, the situation suddenly changed. Xiling and Long Chong, who hadn't made a move until now, suddenly attacked the six with all their power. Two dominators of the starry sky and the rock's burning power. Even the six didn't dare to stay because they didn't know what would happen. Retreat. Without any hesitation, the six turned and left. They were very fast. In the blink of an eye, the 6 had left the cave and disappeared without a trace. How should we inform Big Brother? Don't worry. After I burn my power, I will inform Longao. Get ready. The 3 of us will seal the cave together. I believe that even the 6 of them won't be able to break the cave. Since things had already come to this, Ziling and Long Chong naturally would not shrink back. The 3 immediately began to seal the cave. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The 2 chaos steels and the rock's burning chaotic power formed an invincible shield that shrouded the entire cave. The rock sent a message the moment it shrouded the cave. Outside the cave, looking at the cave that had already been sealed, the 6 people's faces were very gloomy, as ugly as it could be. There was almost no need to guess how powerful the burning power of the 2 starry sky rulers and the primal chaos great rock was. Even if the 6 of them joined forces, they might not be able to break through such a seal. Attack. At this point, the 6 of them clearly knew that they couldn't break the seal, but they didn't choose to give up. Give it a try. It was easy to imagine how powerful the combined might of 6 rulers of stars would be. Even the starry sky ruler wouldn't be able to withstand such power, let alone anyone else. But at this moment, no matter how crazily the 6 of them attacked the seal in front of them, the seal of the Immortals' cave remained motionless. The 6 of them sighed deeply. They knew that a seal like this wasn't something they could break, unless one of them could control the primal chaos force within the Chaos Stone Tablet. Controlling the primal chaos energy within the Chaos Stone Tablet? It was easy to think about it, but difficult to actually do it. What should we do now? Master God Diviner felt very helpless, and had no idea why things had turned out this way. He had everything under control and was just missing the final step. It was just the last step, but he still failed. It was all his fault. If he hadn't brought Longao to the seal of the Martial Heaven continent, the primal chaos great rock wouldn't have been able to break out. If the primal chaos great rock hadn't broken out, they would have succeeded by now. Long Mia and the other 3 shook their heads helplessly. Long Ming said, "What else can we do?" The primordial rock joined forces with the 2 of them to forcefully seal the cave. Even we can't break the seal. If that's the case, our path to the Soaring Dragon Empire is completely cut off. If they couldn't control the people of the Soaring Dragon Empire, then they had to think of another way to deal with Longao. Longao was a huge problem. If they fought head-on, none of them would be afraid of Longao. Longao also knew how strong they were. With the heaven-defying Starry Sky Divine artifact, he didn't put the 6 of them in his eyes. Why don't we just stay here? If nothing unexpected happens, Longao will definitely know about the Soaring Dragon Empire. At this point, Long Ming did not continue, but the meaning of his words was very clear. The 5 of them weren't fools. Of course, they knew what to do next. Since things have come to this, we'll just wait here. If he appears within 100 years, we'll kill him. If he doesn't appear within 100 years, it means that Longao has taken precautions. Even if we continue to stay, it won't be of much use. Everyone nodded in agreement. Just like that, when the 6 of them couldn't break the seal together, they didn't leave. They chose to stay, hoping that Longao would return. Longao, who was rushing back with all his might, suddenly had a change of expression. He stopped abruptly. Although he didn't know how the primal chaos great rock did it, a sentence suddenly appeared in his mind. In just a few seconds, he already knew what had happened. Longao wasn't angry. Instead, he was exceptionally calm. The 6 rulers of Starry Sky had joined forces to lock down the Soaring Dragon Empire. It was already fortunate that no one had died. He didn't dare to ask for more. Looking at the distant Soaring Dragon Empire, Longao knew very well that the 6 of them wouldn't leave the Soaring Dragon Empire casually. They would wait for him to return and then besiege him. Even though he hated the 6 of them, Longao knew that with his current strength, he wouldn't be able to fight them one-on-one, let alone 1 against 6. In that case, even if he returned, it would be useless. He would have to continue hiding in the primal chaos hall. Master Godly Diviner Yi Dugu, the 6 of you just wait. The day I, Longao, refine the primal chaos stone and become a ruler of starry sky will be the day I avenge my family. Longao was now very confident about his family. With the primal chaos great rock burning its power and the 2 rulers of starry sky working together to seal the seal, he believed that even the 6 of them wouldn't be able to break the seal. Longao was very grateful to the primal chaos great rock. He had never imagined that the primal chaos great rock would actually help at the critical moment and even burn its own power. Without the primal chaos great rock's help, it was hard to imagine what would have happened. Longao had already decided that no matter what, he would help the primal chaos great rock recover from its injuries. Chapter 27:16. The cave had been forcibly sealed and nothing would happen for the time being. Longao certainly would not go back at this time. Once he went back, not only would he not be able to avenge the Empire, but he would also be in danger. The loss outweighed the gain. The matter of the Sky Martial Continent could not be concealed. In just a few days, the entire vast starry sky already knew, and everyone was shocked. A total of 6 starry sky rulers joined forces to deal with Longao and the Soaring Dragon Empire, which was a very shameless thing in itself. The starry sky rulers were the strongest in the vast starry sky, not to mention 6 of them. Within the Soaring Dragon Empire, it was not a secret that there were 2 starry sky rulers. The result? It was impossible for 2 starry sky rulers to fight against 6 starry sky rulers. In order to help the Soaring Dragon Empire, the 2 starry sky rulers sealed the cave. This kind of friendship was enough. As for Longao, from the beginning to the end, Longao did not appear at all. According to everyone's guess, Longao must be afraid. Otherwise, how could Longao not appear? Originally, they thought that Longao was not such a person at all. After all, Longao's previous actions were obvious to all. But after thinking about it, they felt relieved. Longao could ignore the 9 great starry sky empires, but he could not ignore the 6 starry sky rulers. Longao did not appear, which was understandable. In the vast starry sky, 90% of the people did not despise Longao at all. Instead, they felt that Longao was sensible. After all, the 6 starry sky rulers joining forces was not a joke. Even if Longao returned to the Soaring Dragon Empire smoothly, not only would he not be able to protect the Empire, he would even lose his life. Everyone guessed. This time, even if Longao was angry, he would not dare to seek revenge on the 6 starry sky rulers. After all, the strength of the 6 starry sky rulers was there. According to the rumors, the 2 starry sky rulers guarding the Soaring Dragon Empire, in order to protect the lives of all the people in the Empire, had no choice but to use all their strength to forcibly seal the cave. What kind of concept was this? In other words, the 2 star rulers by Longao's side would no longer be able to help Longao. Everything depended on Longao. The entire vast starry sky was abuzz with discussion. The matter regarding the Soaring Dragon Empire had completely shocked the vast starry sky. The first plane. Longao entered an inn in the first starry sky empire and sat alone. He chose to ignore the discussions around him. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't angry. But in this situation, what could he do even if he was angry? Xiling and Longchong had stayed behind in the Immortals' cave for the sake of sealing the seal. It would be impossible for them to fight Master God Diviner and the others on their own. It seems that our guess was right. Longao hid when he saw the 6 astral rulers. At another table. It's human nature. If you were in his shoes, you would have done the same. Longao has to face 6 rulers of the starry sky. How is that possible? Hearing this, the others nodded in agreement. If it were other people, it would be fine. But it was the rulers of the starry sky, and there were 6 of them. How could Longao fight against them? Many people expressed their understanding. Even if it was for the sake of his loved ones, he could only bow his head in front of the rulers of the starry sky. Longao's face was expressionless. The more difficult the situation was, the calmer he had to be. Impulsiveness would only spoil things. 2 hours later, Longao stood up and instantly disappeared. From beginning to end, no one noticed him. His cultivation base had successfully broken through to the peak of the starry sky immortal realm. Not to mention ordinary starry sky cultivators, even peak starry sky immortal realm cultivators might not be able to catch up with Longao's speed. In the next second, the first starry sky empire, in a magnificent hall. Looking at Longao, who had suddenly appeared in front of her, Bai Jing stood up. Not to mention the others, even she had received the news about the soaring dragon empire. She was shocked and did not know why the 6 rulers of the starry sky would join forces to deal with Longao. Wasn't it a bit too much of a fuss? Even if Longao was talented, cultivated at an extremely fast speed, and was now very strong, there was no need for the 6 rulers of the starry sky to join forces to deal with him. If the rumors were not true, she would not have believed it even if she was beaten to death. The 6 rulers of the starry sky were completely shameless. It was already shameful to bully the weak, but now the 6 of them had joined forces to deal with Longao. Longao, don't go too far. Bai Jing thought that Longao had come this time to settle accounts with her. As the saying goes, those who have nothing to lose are not afraid of those who wear shoes. Especially now that the soaring dragon empire had sealed itself, if Longao attacked crazily, her empire would not be able to withstand it. She would be lying if she said she was not afraid. However, Longao smiled and said, Bai Jing, I will not look for your empire for the grudges between us. As for the reason why I came here this time, the main reason is to ask you for a favor. Help? What did this mean? Bai Jing was very curious. She did not know what Longao meant. After all, the grudge between them could not be resolved. She should be thankful that they did not kill each other. Now, Longao had come to her for help. She was simply crazy. Longao, tell me about it first. Bai Jing didn't agree, but he also didn't refuse, because he was very clear in his heart, who knew what Longao wanted him to help. He also wanted to see what he could do. How could Longao not know what Bai Jing was thinking? Longao smiled and said, Bai Jing, I believe you already know what happened in the Soaring Dragon Empire. Bai Jing nodded. She did know about it. Could Longao's visit this time be related to the Soaring Dragon Empire? Thinking of this, Bai Jing said directly, Longao, I may be able to help you with other things, but I cannot help you with the Starry Sky Ruler. You should know that even if I am a half-step Starry Sky Ruler, compared to a real Starry Sky Ruler, I am just a powerful ant. Bai Jing had no way to deal with the Starry Sky Ruler. If he could deal with it, he would not have waited until now. If Longao had come this time because of this, Bai Jing had decided that even if he had to fight with Longao, he would not agree. Making an enemy of the Starry Sky Ruler, and 6 of them at that, was an act of suicide. He would rather fight to the death with Longao than provoke the Starry Sky Ruler. On one side was Longao, and on the other side were 6 Starry Sky Rulers. No matter who it was, they would make the same choice, let alone him. Longao smiled again and said, Don't worry. Even if I want you to deal with the 6 Starry Sky Rulers, you must have the strength to do so. Chapter 27:17. She was overthinking. Bai Jing was helpless. She seemed to be impulsive whenever she met Longao. Whatever she could think of, Longao could too. Longao, speak. Bai Jing, I want to know, where did the 9 of you get the secret region? She wasn't surprised at all. Because at this time, no matter what Longao said, Bai Jing wouldn't be surprised. She was getting more and more curious. Longao, even if you want the secret region, I still want to give you a piece of advice. Even if you go there, not only won't you find the secret region, you might even lose your life. This time, Bai Jing was speaking from the bottom of her heart. Although she had a huge grudge with Longao, she admired Longao from the bottom of her heart. Just ask. In the entire vast universe, how many people dared to provoke the universe rulers? Longao was probably the first person to do so. It was completely unprecedented and would never happen again. Bai Jing, the situation is very dangerous. I have to seize every opportunity. He didn't say much. Bai Jing was very clear about Longao's character. Especially now that the Soaring Dragon Empire had been sealed by the 2 universe rulers, who knew when it would be unsealed and leave. There was a more important problem. Even if the 6 universe rulers couldn't break the seal, it didn't mean they would never be able to. Longao, back then, the 9 of us were lucky and found the 9 secret regions in a mysterious forbidden area. However, she stopped. Bai Jing seemed to have something to say, but in the end, she swallowed it back. Bai Jing, I killed 4 limit universe undyings from your number 1 universe empire. I know you hate me. Bai Jing didn't speak, only watching and listening quietly. Before this, I had endured time and time again. It was you all who relentlessly chased after me. If I hadn't acted, the one who would be dead right now wouldn't be them, but me. Regarding Longao's meaning, Bai Jing already understood. Bai Jing smiled and said, the winner is the king, and the loser is the bandit. No matter who was right or wrong, it's all in the past. I, Bai Jing, am a woman of my words. From now on, our past grudges are written off, and I will not trouble you again. There was not the slightest doubt. Longao did not have a trace of doubt in his heart. As long as Bai Jing was not an idiot, she would not find trouble with him. If she was alone, Bai Jing might not be like this. But now, the situation was completely different. Even if Xiling and Long Chong were sealed in the cave, no one knew when the 2 rulers of the stars would break out of the seal. It was easy to imagine the consequences of provoking the 2 rulers of the stars and provoking their revenge. Bai Jing was not stupid. Write it off. With these simple words, Longao had already made his stance clear. Bai Jing was overjoyed. Although she had lost 4 peak starry sky immortals, Bai Jing had thought it through. As long as she was given time, she could create new peak starry sky immortals. If she continued to be enemies with Longao, who knew what would happen in the future? Bai Jing, if you have something to say, just say it. I have to go there myself. Longao's intuition told him that the place Bai Jing and the others had gone to was not simple. It was no different from the mysterious plane Long Yun had encountered. That place? Longao's expression changed completely after he heard that. He had never thought that the mysterious plane that Bai Jing and the others had entered was actually the same as the mysterious plane that he had obtained the 9 great secret lands from. In other words, it was the same mysterious plane that Long Yun had entered. Longao, you know about this plane? Bai Jing was almost certain that Longao had such a big reaction when he heard her mention this plane. There was only one possibility, and that was that Longao definitely knew about this plane. How was that possible? Apart from the 9 of them, even the 12 rulers of the starry sky did not know about this plane. When the 9 of them had obtained the 9 great secret areas, they had made an agreement that no matter what happened, they would not tell anyone about it. Bai Jing, if I say that I have entered this mysterious plane, would you believe me? Yes. With regards to what Longao said, Bai Jing did not have the slightest doubt. Not only have I entered it, but I have also obtained the 9 great mystery realms. If my guess is correct, the 9 great mystery realms that I obtained are exactly the same as the 9 great mystery realms that you all obtained. Ah! Hearing Longao's words, Bai Jing immediately stood up. She was so shocked that she could not speak. When the 9 of them had entered the mysterious plane by accident, they had searched almost every corner of the plane and even experienced life and death situations to obtain the 9 great secret areas. They were almost certain that there could not be any other secret areas in the mysterious plane. But now, Longao said that not only had he entered the mysterious plane, but he had also obtained secret areas. Moreover, he had obtained the 9 great secret areas. What kind of concept was this? Even though she knew that Longao was telling the truth, she still found it hard to believe that not only had the 9 of them obtained the 9 great secret areas, but even Longao had obtained the 9 great secret areas. Longao, what do you mean by this? Intuition told Bai Jing that this matter was not as simple as it seemed. If Longao had obtained the 9 great secret areas, then there must be something fishy going on. Bai Jing, I won't hide it from you. When we went to the mysterious plane, in addition to what you just said, I can almost confirm one thing. What is it? The mysterious plane we entered, in addition to the secret areas, I'm afraid there are also chaos tablets. There might even be some shocking secrets that we don't know about. Chaos tablets? Bai Jing was thoroughly shocked. Ever since he had obtained the secret areas, he had constantly wanted to devour the Chaos Tablets and become a Star Dominator. However, obtaining a Chaos Tablet was easier said than done. It was not an easy task. Bai Jing, forgive me for speaking bluntly, but you have already devoured the secret realm and refined it. Even if you can obtain the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, you will not be able to refine it. Longao did not hide anything and told her all the secrets of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet and the Secret Realm. After hearing this, Bai Jing's expression darkened to the extreme. If he had to choose between becoming a Star Dominator and a Half-Star Dominator, then there was no doubt that he would choose to devour the Chaos Tablets and become a Star Dominator. Thus, he would give up on the secret areas. The two were not even on the same level. Longao, I won't hide it from you. I want to become a Star Dominator. What should I do? For the Chaos Tablets, Bai Jing was willing to do anything and sacrifice everything. He was even willing to sacrifice the entire number 1 Cosmic Empire. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.